Mother, man.
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. And when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest.
It's Murder Metal
All right. Man, scaring me a little bit with that.
Jesus Christ.
Man, some frightening shit, talking about axes and hatchets and chopping.
good.
It's going to be one of those kind of episodes. It's Tuesday, and that means we're throwing down a brand new Murder Metal Mayhem, and we're in Horns High Studios
yeah.
for the Horns High Podcast Network. 223 tonight, Chris.
Getting there.
Yeah, grinding through. And Chris is here with me in Horns High. And Joey, you're
What's
over there
up?
in the 419 and 419 studios.
Fuck yeah, man. Toledo, Ohio, represent.
That's awesome, dude. And I see we're going to get into what we're wearing, but I'm anxious to hear your story about your trip and everything.
Yep.
So that's going to be killer. So, Chris, what do you got going on over there?
Joey's gift to me, the fucking prohibition, we want beer fucking protesters on the shirt.
Very, very
Fuck
fitting. That's awesome,
Yep.
dude.
And they got the steel driver's hat on. Fuck yeah.
All right, very cool. And then, Joey, what are you supporting over there?
Well, today I got the fucking the Tampa Grindfest 4 shirt, and I got this weekend down in Tampa.
Fucking
I
right.
played the Grindfest, so we'll talk more about that. But these shirts are pretty fucking badass. Glad to have one.
Yeah, they do
also
look good.
I'm wearing the Boston hat because and we're doing Lizzie Borden, so I had to fucking rep the
Massachusetts.
There you go. There you go. That's very fitting. And I know we were just talking about our T-shirt addiction in a recent episode. And fittingly, I got a new shirt the other day. But this is the band I've been digging. Truth Corroded from Australia. Those guys are killer. And I found it on Indie Merch. So it was nice. I got it quick and I didn't pay like crazy shipping and all that. So I'm glad to support and get the merch when I can. So
Fucking right.
So yeah, so definitely dig those guys. I've actually been talking to the bass player. Funny how the bass players and I seem to attract, but anyway, he is totally down with doing an interview. So he actually works with a lot of U.S. Booking agents. I think he books shows over there in Australia for metal bands. Because he's worked with like Suffocation and like the dude from Suffocation's on their album, and there's a few bands that are bigger bands like that I think he's done booking for. So he's totally down with getting
right.
on and talking, and so yeah, it'll be cool. So very, very good. Well, last week, guys, speaking about Australia, we were over there. Some fucking craziness, man. 1920s and 30s.
Gangsta bitch.
Right? Razor gangster bitch, that's for sure. We're talking about the crime boss Tilly Devine. Definitely one mean bitch wielding a straight razor and fucking people up like legitimately. Not just like Al Capone, like, ordering other people to do it, but she was
out
actually
there actively doing this shit.
Yeah, she was doing it too, so it's pretty fucked up.
Cut your ass.
And we had our Australian listener, a former police officer, Mick, on with us, which was awesome. And we had Chris doing the metal segment. That was good, Chris. You picked the
fucking goddamn King Parrot. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Another Australian tie
shit.
there. We did all Australian metal. Even the karaoke and the cage match song was all Australian stuff. But we had a mayhem story. I told about some puking, so
Gotta love the vomit.
And the usual stuff, killer cage match and all that. So that was episode 222. So if you missed it, go check it out. If you did already listen, thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Passing 800 on that one today. So thank you. Tonight, though, guys, we're doing another big name in true crime.
Yes,
You talk about females, Chris. I mean,
Lizzie
this
Borden's very iconic name in true crime, I guess.
Yeah, and ironically, she was found not guilty and acquitted.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
fucking weird.
So we're going to talk about that, but she's kind of associated with this. I think a lot of people think she did it. Kind of the O.J. Simpson of her day.
Right.
But her father and stepmother were brutally murdered with hatchets to the head, neck, and face. I mean, absolutely just vicious. And we know she was acquitted, but, there's a lot of people that did really think, the high-dollar attorneys, like in the OJ case, got her off
on
some
technicalities or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, just basically showed there was really no evidence. But the brutal slayings in 1892 Massachusetts are going to be some gruesome details, which is always fun for us. And talking about hatchets and mayhem going on tonight. And we're going to have our buddy Shane Borchuk on with us,
yeah.
which is killer. Shane's always fun
awesome.
to have on. We've been having guests on more often, and we love having Shane, Tex, and now Jeff on. So we've really got a nice, steady flow of
Fucking
just
Mick.
really great people to have on. And, Shane is a big listener of ours and a Canadian, so we usually have him on Canadian cases. But we didn't have any in the schedule, and I just said, hey, dude, just pick one of these. And he picked
could
Lizzie
roll in,
Borden.
yeah.
So, very cool. And so he's warming up in the bullpen tonight. And then, Joey, you got the horns, and I totally dig what you've decided to do for this segment.
Yeah, for metal tonight, I decided to go with an individual,
Right?
and that individual is James Murphy. Anybody that's probably into fucking death metal or thrash or whatever probably already knows that name. If you don't, listen up, because he was definitely involved and is involved in a lot in the metal scene.
Yeah, dude, I think one of the best Testament albums ever was the one that he was on, man. Demonic.
Yeah,
that is fucking killer.
Well, he was on Low also, but
Oh,
anyway,
that's right. I forgot about
We'll
that.
talk about that though. For
I forgot
sure. Both
that.
those albums we'll talk about.
Yeah, definitely. And Chris, you got a Lost Classic
I
for
do
us?
have one.
That's cool.
I do
And
have one.
So we'll talk about all things metal in, of course, the metal segment. And got a new killer cage match for everybody tonight. That's where we get a list of 75 killers, 75 objects. But now it's 100 because I upped them both. So I need to update this. But the variable in the cage and a song as they fight to the death. It's always fun. Chris, we got some our listeners.
Yes, we do. We got Peggy 419 Sue. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
We got homie Colin Rogers. Thank you, sir.
Hell yeah, dude.
And God damn it, Ray Big Pimpin' McFalls. What
There
up,
he
Big
is
Pimpin'?
now with the very
Right.
nickname. So we'll see. But thank you, Peggy, Colin, and Ray. You guys are awesome. And we got a good one for him tonight, Joey. Always delivering the goods. And who's fighting tonight, dude? I know
This
you're
one
going to
should-
love this one.
Yeah, this one should be pretty funny. You're going down to Texas. We're going to pick up Dean Coral. The
Oh,
Candyman
no.
is going to come up, and he's going to go up against fucking Rod Farrell, the Kentucky Vampire.
Hell yeah. Now, I just want to know, Joey, is Dean Coral bringing his plywood and his hammer and nails? Is that maybe going to
Well, I mean, we'll have to see if that happens to be the objects and a variable. If not, he's going to have to make do with what we offer him.
That's right. Rod might be for a long fucking night if,
It might
if
be.
Dean's got to get a hold of him with that plywood and the nails. Ouch. And so the variable will add to the fun. I've got all new variables to totally mix it up. And so, yeah, so we got some new names. I actually went through our episodes, and just the last like 25 in each are all the more modern episodes we've
Outdated.
done.
Right.
But there's, like Elizabeth Bathory's on there and Lizzie Borden's on there. And so, yeah, some good ones. Last week, guys, we hit 2,400 listens, so we appreciate that. So keep on spreading the word. Tell people about our
thank you, guys.
website, murdermetalmayhem.com, where you can get more info on what we do. And we got a web store on there, and you can listen to the show from there. And we got that Horns High Studios Facebook page, since those douchebags took our main
murder-
page down. But that's neither here nor there. So go there, and you can also join our group. We do have a Murder Metal Mayhem group on there. So we got a lot on our plate tonight. We're going to be taking a little trip to the East Coast to see a crazy woman with a little axe to grind.
Dude, we need to get our fucking axe murder on.
You know, I just couldn't resist. I needed a full minute of that. I could. 30 seconds just was not enough of that Cannibal Corpse song. How fucking appropriate! Hatchet to the goddamn head. I mean,
Hell
seriously.
Yeah, thanks for Shane for requesting that shit.
Hell yeah, Shane. Yeah, you said that. It was like right on my tip of my tongue because I thought of the same. I thought it was perfect. So good call. And the perfect tune to jam while you're ready to talk about some Lizzie Borden shit tonight. And Shane, how's it going over there in old Winnipeg, Canada?
Going pretty decent, guys. Thanks for having me on for this one. This is among one of the most famous OG seminal true crime cases there is.
All right.
And
you're right, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. And happy belated Mother's Day to all the yummy mummies out there.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, the Murdering Moms of May continues with this one. Very brutal. But in this case, she wasn't a mother.
No.
But she killed her stepmother, or they believe she did. We're going to get into that. But, yeah, so we're kind of mixing it up this week with the murderer is the child. But it's going to be a brutal one. And like you said, Shane, very iconic. Just one of those ones everybody knows about her. And you said the weather's been okay up there in Canada?
Yeah, been very good. We just went
finally done with the snow and all that bullshit.
And we just jumped right into summer, no spring.
Yeah, for sure.
From freezing ass cold to balls ass hot.
You got that right.
So definitely a known case. Even when, I was a younger kid, I remember hearing about this one. I think it's that nursery rhyme or thing that we played at the intro of the show. But she was acquitted of the double murder of her father and stepmother in Fall River, Massachusetts in August of 1892. And we've heard Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks, and when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. And there was not nearly that many whacks.
There was not.
But it was brutal. But, it worked better for the rhyme, I guess, so.
It was like almost half of that, though, right? Between.
Yeah, probably close to that, yeah. So.
But if you're jumping rope, though, you want a few more whacks to do a little
That's true.
skip and hop, too,
That's true, Joey. But definitely a gruesome crime scene. I mean, the pictures are pretty brutal. You think of that time.
They're
taking
black and
that
white,
picture.
But you still look at it and you're like, oh my God.
Dude's head is like completely caved in. It's pretty sick. So there's a little controversy, though, with this case, kind of like the Elizabeth Bathory one, and we'll talk about that tonight. But Shane, what is it, do you think, about Lizzie Borden that makes people still today interested in it more than 100 years ago?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's got quite a few things going for it, actually. Firstly, it's just the brutal and gruesome nature of the crime itself. It's just inherently intriguing and sensational. The fact that someone would commit these acts against their own family, it's shocking. Secondly, the case was surrounded by a number of unusual circumstances and unanswered questions. There was lack of motive and witnesses. And thirdly, the trial itself, it was very highly publicized and it drew national attention. And it was also noteworthy for being one of the first cases that had heavy use of forensic evidence.
Right.
And finally, just the countless retellings and adaptions in popular culture over the years, it just keeps the story alive.
Yeah, that's true. And it's got a little bit of the sex angle to it, too, which we'll get into with some of the sensational sides of this. But, Chris, I do see some similarities, though, between old Lizzie Borden and Elizabeth Bathory when you talk about these legendary characters like this. But, they kind of get blown out of proportion, exaggerated. What do you think?
Yeah, it's basically like Shane just said. Like after it's been over 100 years, the more the story gets told, and like Elizabeth Bathory, like bathed in the blood of virgins or whatever.
Right.
Now this story is just 30-some-year-old woman fucking kills her parents with a fucking axe.
Right.
Like just out of nowhere, and then doesn't have. It builds a. They made a nursery rhyme out of the motherfucker.
Right. Yeah.
Like. She's fucking crazy, and people are going to remember that shit.
Yeah, especially with it being a female. We look at females obviously differently, and at that time especially, we're going to get into that. One of the reasons possibly she was, not found guilty, just couldn't believe a woman could do such a thing. And then Joey, I mean, this is an iconic one. We talk about things that it's inspired, but I mean, all sorts of entertainment, right? Joey.
Shit.
Well, there's been a lot of stuff that's come out, for media pertaining to this case, and
right.
It's a case where the true legend itself is just as important as the the urban legend that spawned off it, I guess. So you can take both angles. So you have authors like Mary Higgins Clark, and she wrote No Place Like Home, which is definitely a tip of the hat to the Lizzie Borden case. Agatha Christie wrote Sleeping Murder, which is absolutely about the same situation.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I read a lot of her stuff back in the day, but I didn't realize that.
Right. And I mean, there's a plethora of authors I could continue with, but as far as like film, so one of the most iconic is 1975 made-for-TV movie, The Legend of Lizzie Borden. Now, what's classic about The Legend of Lizzie Borden is Elizabeth Montgomery played her,
right?
And it wasn't until she died, but it was later found out through genealogy that she was 6 cousins once removed from Lizzie Borden, actually. So
right.
she was
bloodline somewhere.
Yeah, so she was playing her cousin essentially. So, but that was 1975, and then 2014 they put out Lizzie Borden Took an Axe, and that has Christina Ricci in it. A lot of people have seen that one. 2018. They put out a movie called Lizzie with Chloe Sevigny and Kristen Stewart. Now, I'm not going to be very PC in this. I'm not trying to be a dick, but they probably should have called the movie Leslie because it was totally the lesbian angle that the Lizzie Borden case took with the chambermaid. So I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it would have been funny if they called it that. And then the only other one I'm going to mention is 2022, there was a movie that came out called The Inhabitant. Now, it wasn't about Lizzie Borden, but it was supposedly based on her bloodline later on, learning about their bloodline to Lizzie Borden. So anyway, it's still like pertaining to it and shows how people are using her story to continue telling it. Now, whenever you talk about fucking music, way too many to name, but a few that I will say is Alice Cooper, Inmates Were All Crazy. He definitely talks about Lizzie Borden in that song. A huge one for thrash fans, Flotsam and Jetsam, She Took an Axe.
Oh, without a doubt.
That song's so badass.
It is.
Mortician, Pledge the Night of Death, about Lizzie Borden, and then I couldn't even leave this segment without saying Macabre and their song, Lizzie Borden on Grim Scary Tales. So they did, Macabre's telling of the story in that song is one of the best probably historically factual retellings of the tale.
Oh,
and
cool.
they did it in song form. So
interesting. I have to check that out. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff on her, and that's why I think people have just heard a lot about it. And I remember it as a younger kid, hearing the rhyme and all that. and didn't even realize she was actually acquitted until I was, into my adulthood. And there is, I think, a lot of parallels with the O.J. Simpson case. And we'll talk about the trial later, but I mean, she was definitely like the fucking original celebrity sensational trial, high dollar
Kinda, yeah.
attorney, trying to poke holes in the prosecution's case, and it winds up getting her acquitted.
Got daddy money.
Yeah, and she's got them coaching her on how she's supposed to dress and look and react and this and that. I mean, it's very orchestrated, but that's what good attorneys do. And I also think, as we were saying, the bias of that a woman couldn't have done something so heinous as this,
Yeah, that's not true. It
Yeah.
happens.
No, of course not. So she was small in stature. The lawyers told her to dress that innocent, part to make her look younger. And, like I said, I mean, they were slick. That's what good lawyers do, man. But I found it interesting, guys, that she was born Lizzie Andrew Borden. So her name is Lizzie. I thought it was Elizabeth or short for something, but it was not. But interesting with the father's first name is her
It's
middle name.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Really
thought that
weird.
Same thing.
But she was born in Fall River, Massachusetts in 1860. Maybe it was a custom with the middle name like that. I'm not sure, because the mother's name was Sarah Anthony Borden, but that was her birth mom. So I don't know if her dad was named Anthony. Maybe then it was some sort of thing.
It's
I don't
so
know.
fucking weird.
Never heard of it before. But not the one that was murdered in 1892. That would be, of course, the stepmom. And the dad's name was Andrew Jackson Borden. And I thought it would have been funny if he would have had like a middle name like Mary or Hazel,
'Cause that would have been fucking
totally fucking like throw us into a tailspin
Like,
here.
wait, what just happened?
Trying to figure
would've
that
been
shit out,
awesome.
boy named Sue type of shit going on. But this was a very wealthy family, the Bordens, but not so much their branch. They had to really scrap. And her dad, grew up,
Or he built his shit up.
yeah, he built this shit up on his own.
He's kind of a tyrant.
He was. And, he didn't make the kind of money his relatives did, but he did very well, as we'll get into. And the mom died when Lizzie was almost 3. She was like 2.5. And I'm sure that had a major effect on her. I mean, any child losing a parent, that's pretty rough at that age, especially. But her older sister, Emma, was 9 years older. She promised her mom that she would look after Lizzie, and ended up being more of like a surrogate mom kind of thing, But Shane, her dad, was kind of cheap. What was the deal with the old man?
Yeah, he was pretty miserly. This was at a time when people had indoor plumbing, they had gas and electricity in their homes, and the Bordens, they had none of this. They just
Yeah,
lived in
that
a
would
plain house.
suck.
Yeah, these
That
were
would
two
suck.
educated, cultured ladies, and they really felt like they deserved a bit more of a luxurious lifestyle. And,
Right.
even though Andrew had the money and they could live wherever they wanted, he chose to live in a modest house on a busy street
Right.
close to downtown so he could get to work quickly, easily.
Right.
Yeah, one of the big rumors around town was that Andrew was so cheap that when he built a casket, he would cut the fucking feet off the corpse so he could make the casket smaller and use less
I
wood.
did see that. I
Right?
did see. I saw something about that. That's funny.
Which
saw
they
that
did a
too.
Tales from the Crypt episode that was fucking based off that too.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, this is. I think we're going to see this story kind of permeating into lots of things that I didn't even realize. Which I think is fun with these big name cases like this one. Yeah, I mean the fact that there's no indoor plumbing, Chris, I think would have pissed off these two young ladies.
I mean, you would think so. They want to live on the hill, whatever, not down where they're at.
Right.
And the fact that they've never had to work for a single thing in their entire life, dude, and they're as old as they are when the murders happen,
Yeah.
it just shows you, dude. Give them everything they want when they want it, and they'll
They
never
just keep wanting more.
Yeah,
or be dependent on it.
yeah,
so.
100%.
Just
dependent.
entitled.
Definitely. I think that's the case with these two. But I heard that Lizzie was worse about that than Emma. I think Lizzie was a little more salty about the whole thing, and Emma felt that way too. But I think she was not as over the top with it.
Right.
Obviously, she didn't hack him up with a hatchet.
Or did she?
No, or did she?
Oh,
Ooh. Breaking news on Murder Metal Mayhem. So at the time in Fall River, the wealthy people, as Chris said, lived up on the hill, and those that were not as wealthy lived at the bottom. Very kind of symbolic here. Lizzie often complained to her friends at school about that whole situation. Like Shane mentioned, she thought because she's got this, privilege and money and that she should have been, up there as well, but felt kind of slighted.
Dad's like the richest guy in town. Why am I living here?
And there's no indoor plumbing. There's no electricity. I mean, shitting in a bucket by candlelight would get pretty fucking old. I mean, that would suck.
Save your money.
Yeah, I mean, I remember
dig a
what it
hole,
was
kid.
like going to the field in the Army, and I fucking hated it. So I couldn't imagine, like, living like that.
Yeah, that's just
would,
your life.
That would just be brutal. So, Joey, it seems that the money was an underlying issue at the house. And what was the deal about that, man?
well, Lizzie, I mean, her whole idea is that she should be living up on the hill with the socialites and the elites of the area.
Right.
She sees that her family has money, and like Chris said, she really is like, what the hell? Why is this not the way shit is? Why am I living like this? So, she sees a gap. She sees a social gap, and she's on the wrong side of the gap that she feels like she belongs to.
Right.
Entitled, privileged, like Shane was saying. So, I mean,
Right.
it's just... It's if she has some kind of fucking issue and that's the kind of thing that can trigger her at that time or set her off,
Right.
then there it is right there.
Yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think you're right. So Lizzie and her older sister Emma were raised in a religious house, very involved in church groups. And, like we were saying, Lizzie was 32 at the time of these murders. I didn't realize that she was as old as she was. She's still living at home, as was her sister, who was 9 years older than her. Definitely strange at the time for them to be unmarried at those ages. So, they were considered, old maids, at that age, or they were
Old
unmarried.
maids. Dude,
Yeah.
I for real have a relative who has that as her license plate.
Oh, wow.
It just says old maid. I'm just like, oh my God.
That's funny. That's funny. So this, of course, fueled rumors that will come up later as after the murders happened about this possibly being a motivation, for Lizzie to murder was, this whole, just tired of the situation and just wanted to fucking, move up to, moving on up
Get the
to the
fuck outta
hill
here.
and get
Yeah.
the fuck out of there.
Get me out the slums, Dad.
Yeah. So, but
Why am
Shane,
I down here?
Shane, 3 years after the death of her mom, what happens in the family? A little shake up there.
Well, Lizzie's father remarries a woman named Abby, and they said it wasn't really a marriage of love, more of convenience. But
Right.
it was for the 19th century that was pretty common to marry for practical reasons instead of emotional. But what was very uncommon was for a single man to be raising $2 daughters. So, she was described as a gray, dumpy, unremarkable woman, and in fact, so plain that people couldn't even fathom the motive for killing her. And
Wow.
Andrew, he was a public figure, so he might have used this as a way of maintaining his social standing, as well as providing a maternal figure for his daughters. So it was like getting two birds stoned at once.
There
Fuck
you go.
yeah.
Trailer Park Boy reference.
Whatever the
Good.
case, there was a lot of tension in the relationship between Abby and Lizzie, and with them together, it was like putting two angry cats in a burlap sack.
Right. Shane, when we do those on the show, the Trailer Park Boy references, I always think, I wonder if Shane caught that one. I figured you probably do. You're pretty sharp there. Can't get one by you. All right, so Chris, it's not uncommon, for kids to resent a step parent. I mean, I know for me, my kids were adults when their mom died in the accident, and they were cool with Jenny and everything was fine there,
Right.
But sometimes that doesn't go well. I don't think it went very well in this case.
No, fucking, she refused to fucking call Abby fucking mother or is just straight up Mrs. Borden.
Yeah,
Whatever, Mrs.
That's
Borden.
pretty cold,
Like,
man.
dude, she just cold-hearted bitch. Like, didn't care. But
Right.
I mean, I get it with the fucking kids thing too. I got younger kids, and I know it hasn't been marriage, but like, if you've been somebody with so freaking long with your kid, and then all of a sudden, I get it. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
totally. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's very common.
right. She fucking just didn't give a fuck about that bitch. Like,
No.
didn't even hang out and to fucking eat with them a lot of times.
Yeah, I know they were saying both the sisters hardly ate with the parents at all. So just, definitely a cold, distant kind of household. But when you're living like on top of each other, because they showed the layout of the house and like there were no hallways. So like all the rooms were just
You had
one
to walk
after
through
the
a
other.
room to get into a room.
So you're like walking through people's bedrooms. I mean, just very uncomfortable and certainly not a very private situation. I mean, you could have been fucking getting dressed, quote unquote, like J-Rock, getting dressed.
I'm getting dressed, Mom.
Yeah, and doing something like that, and then somebody walks in on you, and then somebody's writing a rap song about it.
At that point, all you gotta do is finish.
So very cold situation, and with two daughters in this, I could see where there is some frustration, especially like we were saying, this privileged kind of attitude. And it's like things are building here. Like we do these cases where like it's the slow drip, but it's coming. Something crazy's getting ready to happen. And Joey, Lizzie, and Emma believe that Abby only married their dad for money. So, did the old man have some cash or what, man?
Yeah, he had a fucking lot of money. He was worth what today would be $9 million.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's pretty good. So back then, I mean, he had everything that he needed to take care of him and his line. Is there a possibility that, one of the motives for his wife wanting to marry him was his wealth and fortune? Fuck yeah! I mean, what the fuck?
Well,
That's,
it
Right.
is.
that's a huge check on the plus side when you're considering marrying a fella.
Sure,
But,
sure.
Does he have $9 million?
And in that
Yes, he
era,
does.
I mean, think about it. For her, I mean, when he
Yeah.
goes, she's going
Right.
to inherit all that money, So.
Now, are you Lizzie and you're sitting there, like we talked about earlier, she's already looking at the situation like, look, I'm getting shafted on how well I could be living my life.
Right.
But I know that I'm going to be set for the rest of my life. Then all of a sudden, this new bitch comes in and it's like, wait, she's going to get a part of this too
That
and be
can't
involved in
happen.
this? And oh my God, how much if he really loved this new wife as much as, they were saying, that he was probably courting her and wooing her, buying her all kinds of shit to impress her.
Right.
And that was probably pissing him off too. So,
Right.
I don't know. A lot of catty shit going on in the
Yeah,
story.
I'm
by
eating this
point.
fucking week-old fucking sheep stew on the We're going to get to that. That's fucking nasty, man. What the fuck? He's making them eat that shit like as it's rotting on the fucking stove, and he's got $9 million, and they're living like that. Like, fuck that dude, man. That's just cold. So
Also, those bitches could go out and get a goddamn job.
yeah, that's what I was
Fucking right.
wondering. Go to fucking
Goddamn right.
go into the fucking convenience store and get a fucking job. What the fuck? So I see this as a similarity to the Bathory case. When you got money involved, like we talked about with that one, whether it's 1600 or 1892 or 2023, people do dumb shit
Yep.
when it comes to money. I mean, it drives people apart.
I just want to say there are the similarities between these two,
yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? $9 million today's worth, 7, 8, 9 castles. No, I'll take them castles.
I'll take
Bathory
them-
had it
fuck
first.
She
yeah,
owned what,
son.
17 towns?
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's crazy. Like, yeah, so the Bathory money is like, yeah, this is like chump change for sure, dude. You're right. You're right. But you know, it definitely corrupts people and makes people do shady stuff, and it, you know, they say it's the root of all evil and all that good stuff. But you know, in a capitalistic society, that's, you know, the way it is. And some people obviously very driven with money, and some not so much. So you know, definitely a motivation, I think, with both of those cases. But there was the housekeeper. Her nickname was Maggie, but her name was Bridget Sullivan. And she was actually interviewed, of course, after the murders.
Hey, Pete,
and
Pete,
she's
how fucked up is it that their previous housekeeper's name was Maggie, and when they got the new housekeeper, they just kept on calling her Maggie too?
oh, I
That's
didn't
fucked
realize
up.
that.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Wow,
Fucking crazy.
that's crazy. Yeah, that's definitely fucked up.
It's just like, I refuse to call you by your real
That's like
name.
some
You're Maggie.
psychopathic shit.
That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That is. I didn't realize that. So there was a case of food poisoning in the home. We were alluding to this a minute ago, very close to the August 4th, 1892 date. And some stuff I read said that the doctor believed they were food poisoned from improper refrigeration, which obviously at that time was pretty difficult, you know.
Right.
But they had been eating leftover mutton, which I wasn't sure what that was, so I had to Google it. It's sheep. So sheep rotting in a fucking stew on the stove is what they were eating. I mean, that sounds fucking nasty.
For like a week.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that knows me, I've talked about it before on the show. I've got weird food things, okay? Like there's certain shit like I just can't.
Milk, Pete thinks is disgusting.
Milk is disgusting, yes. So I'll cook with it and stuff like that, but I'm not drinking it. Anyway, leftovers for me, I can't do it usually. But the thought of this sitting on the stove for days just makes me like gag.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
It's really
disgusting.
nasty. Yeah, it really is. So very, very suspicious, though, that maybe Lizzie had something to do with it, but they think it was probably more the rotting sheep than maybe what she was doing. But
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. There's been times I wake up from fucking being drunk.
Yeah.
Shit, the pizza's still on the counter. I just grab a slice
Yeah,
of pizza and
I
eat
mean,
that shit.
I wouldn't do that, but I don't think that's, you know, like crazy. You know, that's
Right?
all good. But you know, Shane, I saw something about the fact that she had built a roost for these pigeons. What was it? What was up with these pigeons?
Well, she had a roost in the backyard and had some pigeons there, and her father went into the barn and killed a bunch of them with a hatchet.
That's
What
a good
the
guy.
Fuck.
Yeah, a little bit.
Jesus.
It's a little bit of foreshadowing. It's kind of ominous. If it was a
Yeah.
Pete story, I'd say, hey, that's some damn good foreshadowing there, Pete. And
But this is
There you
real
go.
life.
this is real life.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
It was,
Shane.
was
That
kind of
would
a
be-
bizarre incident there. One of the theories is that Andrew wanted to sell the pigeons, and Lizzie made such a fucking fuss about it that he snapped and just killed the pigeons out of spite. It was like, you know, my house, my yard, my fucking rules. I paid for the
Right.
pigeons, the roost, all the feed. They're my pigeons. I'll do whatever the hell I want with them.
Wow.
You know, he could have let the pigeons go or sold them, but no, he fucking chopped off their heads and
Fuck yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty metal.
Pigeon stew.
Very metal.
Pigeon
and,
stew to replace that mutton stew.
yeah, there you go.
What makes it so
then she can be
heinous
like-
is that Lizzie was an animal lover, you know, a patron
Right,
saint to the
yeah.
animals. And
Right.
so this would have been particularly traumatic to her. And, you know, it's all circumstantial speculation, but definitely something you'd want to consider when you're looking at motive.
Yeah.
That would
Dude,
be
I think
funny
there's a
if, uh,
huge motive here that, like you said, she was a huge animal lover and supporter, and even into her adulthood. I mean, well, she was already an adult, but beyond this, I mean, she became very philanthropic with lots of causes like that. Donated money, you know, when she died to some different organizations. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there would have definitely been a huge motive, I think, to me. Between that and the money side of it, I think that's your your two
What were you
motivations.
gonna say,
there.
Joey?
Nothing. I was just gonna say that it was ironic, that fucking he was gonna show her how to kill someone with a hatchet. Then if he's curious why his fucking daughter's killing him,
Right.
it's like, man, I learned this from watching you. Like
I
the
learned this by
fucking-
watching you, man.
the drug commercial.
The
No,
drug
but
commercial back in the
yeah,
day.
but for real, but for real though, that's like a for real thing though. Like
Right.
she could have looked him dead in his eye before. Well, supposedly he was sleeping.
Right.
And just been like, why I'm doing this because you killed my fucking pigeons, motherfucker.
Yeah, I
Now
want
I
to
know
make
how
sure
to
he
kill.
sees that axe.
Yeah, I mean that would be a horrifying last few seconds seeing that, and then if you had the realization or the irony of the whole thing would be even more fucked up. So, wow, I'm getting lots of ideas here. I might have to do a Lizzie Borden modernized
Hell yeah.
story here. So there's this incident involving a robbery at the house while Andrew and Abby went on vacation. And some money was stolen, and I did see that there was suspicion that Lizzie had taken it. So who knows? But an interesting side note was that Lizzie was a little bit of a klepto and liked to steal like stupid shit. And didn't we just talk about this with somebody else? Was it Bathory? Or I can't remember, but I thought it was another female. But
We did just talk about
yeah,
it.
so I'm just trying to think what it was, but yeah, just the we talk about this often with just serial killers in general is that weird stealing, like they love to steal just like dumb
Right.
shit.
Charles Ng for one.
Oh, it was last week with Tilly Devine. She liked to steal just random shit and just she had all this money and
Yep.
yeah. So another situation that definitely fired up some arguments is that Andrew is going to give this house supposedly to Emma and Lizzie, but at the time, the law,
a rental house.
Yeah, a rental house that you
Right?
can make money off of if you want.
the law said that two older women could not live on their own without a man in the house,
so
which is
fucked
really
up,
fucked up. And I know we're laughing, but like women are listening to this, like steam is coming out of their ears. So, ladies, we understand. I'm not.
I'm
you know,
laughing at that. People.
I'm laughing
thought
at
that.
how absurd the whole
Right,
thing
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
just
yeah.
seems so crazy to us now, right? So he ends up giving though the house to someone in the stepmom's family, Abby.
On. Ooh.
And you could imagine that this had to piss them the fuck off because,
Which he's given multiple properties over to his in-laws.
yeah, that's true.
On her side by this point too.
Yeah. Now
so.
the fucking Lizzie and Emma are both just straight up just like.
Okay,
Wait, what the fuck,
fuck?
Dad? Why are we living over here like this and you're just giving random properties away to that bitch's family?
I wonder
What
though
the
if the
fuck?
dad was like, you know what, fuck these two, they won't work. You know,
I
like
mean-
Yeah.
he owns these factories and shit. He could put them to fucking work somewhere. I mean,
Right, I get that, but was Abby working?
well, yeah, that's true too. But she
Whatever,
was,
like,
know,
She was working it in bed. She didn't have to.
I mean, she's already doing her job. Good call, bro. Good call.
yeah, she was taking care of business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, these kids are fucking pissed.
they
dude.
are, and Chris. So this sets off a little bit of a fucking argument, man.
Yeah, and after that, they're fucking like a month before the murders and shit. It upsets these young privileged girls so goddamn much. You're like, well, we just got to take a vacation, and they're fucking just gone.
Right. A
They just
vacation
bounce.
from what? Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You ain't doing work. You ain't doing shit. Just, they're like, this is so upsetting. We got to go to fucking Maui or some shit like that, dude.
Well, they
Like,
went to their vacation house. They
I
had
don't
a
remember
vacation
where the
house.
vacation house was.
It was somewhere in Massachusetts, I believe.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, still, like, we're out.
Yeah, whatever.
But that's fucking pretty fucking telling how fucking privileged their lives really were, even though they didn't have running water and fucking goddamn shit.
Electricity.
They had it pretty good. You can go to a whole nother home that probably has that.
Yeah, I wondered why they just didn't stay at the fucking
Right.
vacation. It was New Bedford. I believe that's in Massachusetts. But, I mean, seriously, like, why didn't they just stay
If the
there?
fucking vacation house is better. Stay there.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
exactly.
Fuck you,
But
Mom.
maybe
Fuck you,
because
Dad.
they were two females, they couldn't. That's
Jesus
fucked up.
Christ.
So is it just me, or are these two fucking spoiled? I mean, definitely. I think we all agree on that. So when they get back from this vacation, though, Lizzie returned earlier, and she ends up staying at like a bed and breakfast or some sort of like motel type deal for a few days before she goes home. So
That's that
I don't know if
prep
she
work.
was like drying out or what she was trying to do. Been partying it up in fucking New Bedford with her sister, and
Fuck yeah.
comes back, needs to detox for a few days, fucking
I can only imagine a
Just-
huge ass teenager party.
chill out, So, but this is a week.
They called them tea parties over
Oh
there.
yeah,
Right.
my bad.
So this is a week before the murders, okay? So this is, again, the building thing here. So Emma is still gallivanting around on her vacation. She never came back. But she's smart, right? She did the right thing by going on her little extended vacation
Right.
because she's not considered a suspect because
No-
she
yeah,
wasn't
no
around
implication.
there. And the pharmacist that told the police that Lizzie attempted to buy cyanide but refused to sell it to her because he didn't feel that she had a legitimate reason. Apparently, there was a use, and this is what she claimed, was to clean her real seal skin cape. That's a tongue twister. A
Fuck yeah.
seal skin cape, which again, I'm wondering why an animal lover is wearing a real animal anything. Doesn't that seem a little hypocritical, guys? I mean, if you're an animal lover, would you be wearing like fur and a sealskin cape? Shane, do you have a sealskin cape? All right, Joey, did you hear that?
I guess fashion
I'm thinking-
trumps all, eh?
I guess.
I'm thinking that back then though that they didn't understand the irony of it yet. So you still wore it because it was a sign of distinguished,
Right,
societal status.
right.
But you didn't understand that even though you're an animal lover, you're fucking sporting the shit at that point. That's before people started talking shit to animal lovers for wearing, Nike shoes or
Right.
something made of leather.
Right.
They weren't even thinking about it then. All they were thinking about was the initial murder about food and shit.
Right.
It's like, holy shit, animals are used for all kinds of other shit that we can fucking protest and cry about too. So, got crazy.
Right, right. So the guy doesn't sell her the poison, and the jury though would later not be allowed to hear about that, which I thought was kind of fucked up, but that's how it went.
Sometimes shit happens for whatever reason.
Yeah.
No, we can't use that in the why? That's,
Yeah, so her attorney was able to get that, tossed out so they couldn't bring it up. So that's, again, the whole high dollar attorney.
Think back then when he was like talking about it, he was like, "Now see here, sir." This should not-"
Possibly. I've been visioning something like that,
Right.
The Colonel Sanders looking fucking dude, right? So the night before the murders, they're visited by their Uncle John, who is the brother of the mom that died, so her birth mom. He spent the night, but then left the next day to do some more visiting of other family. Andrew, the dad, he left early on August 4th, 1892 to tend to some business. He was definitely a go-getter. This guy was involved. We're going to talk about it in so many fucking things. Maggie, the housekeeper, was sick still from the fucking food poisoning. But instead of letting the poor girl fucking puke in fucking peace, they got her up on a fucking extension ladder cleaning fucking windows from the outside. So
Hottest day of the year.
yeah, that's true. It was supposed to be the hottest day of the year. So definitely fucked up. And then Joey, Lizzie's,
That's fucking dumb.
yeah, it
Clean
is
the
a
window, but
2-story fucking house.
but now they're puking all over the place
Yeah.
from up there. It's gonna. That's fucking. I
It
guess
is fucked up.
I guess if you don't got to clean it up, fucking.
Right, exactly. So Joey, in the house is Lizzie and her stepmom Abby. That's the only two people in the house. So why don't you take it from there? What happens next?
Well, they say that Abby was murdered in the morning in the upstairs bedroom, and if you look at the facts of the case and, compared to how her dad died, I don't know. I kind of believe that probably was the order of operations. We'll say. But so she was hit in the front, so head on, but then 17 times in the back of the head and neck, and she was down on the floor. Now, they said that she probably died from the first or second blow. That was the fatal, infliction. But everything after that was, as we know now, probably what they call overkill or excessive show of aggression, which usually occurs when somebody has a personal reason of hatred towards this person,
and
usually a family member or a lover.
If it was a robbery, they're going to hit them until they're dead and then leave them. They're not going to keep fucking brutalizing them like that. I mean, it just
she
you're
never
exactly
liked her
right.
as a stepmother anyway, so she just
I mean, it to me that's most certainly a no-brainer, pointing kind of some blame toward Lizzie with that one. 17 fucking hits, so not quite 40, but still that's brutal. So that was one of the reasons, though, that they said there was not a lot of blood spatter, was because she died quick, so the wound wouldn't have been spraying blood. So there was that whole thing about how she didn't have any blood on her. Well, if there was not a lot of blood spatter, then she probably would maybe not have had a lot on her at all. And we'll talk about what each of us think about this when we get into that. But I don't know, man. It's fucked up. I mean, to think of somebody killing their stepmom with 17 blows
and then
to the
father.
head. Brutal, yeah. And she's not done yet. But we talk about it being an axe, but it was like a hatchet. And so not a huge weapon, but definitely fucking nasty.
Hatchet like 14 inches,
something like that. Something like that. So I saw the actual bedspread from the room where the stepmother was killed, and there's very little blood on that white fabric. It was white, and it was right next to where she was killed. So there's nothing. I mean, there was like a few spots on the side. And then on the top, there's one up by the pillow, and then one on the spread, like very small, like pinhead size, like very, very small drops of blood.
Spraying everywhere and shit.
It wasn't. And this thing is a white fucking bedspread that was right there, that they have on display in this museum. Is pretty cool. Now, Shane, there's definitely that creepy scene, that Maggie would tell police, What was up with that?
Yeah, well, Andrew, he came home early, around 10:30 in the morning. He wasn't feeling well from all the food poisoning. He laid down on the couch. Then he heard Maggie giggling, but Maggie said she heard Lizzie giggling at the top of the stairs, and when Andrew had a hard time getting into the house with the jammed lock. So it's very strange. It's kind of open to speculation, but I personally think she's completely unhinged at this point. And some people say, well, it was a moment of levity, thinking about the slight inconvenience that her father was having with the locks. But
so did she fuck with the locks then, you think?
Yeah,
guys?
she had actually locked things up really tight.
Okay.
Yeah. The amount of overkill with her mother tells me that she started, and then maybe she kind of liked it, maybe a lot more than she thought she might. And I think by this time, though, she was having a complete psychotic breakdown and maybe giggling to herself on the stairs at the anticipation of killing her father. She was maybe looking forward to it, just like a little fucking dog that's so fucking excited it's literally vibrating and then pees on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, dude, I hate it when that happens. It's like, I know you're excited, but I don't need a golden shower, dude.
I hate when your brother Michael just pisses on the floor.
Now, there is the other side of it, that she could be so fucking terrified and freaked out by what she did because she had such an aggressive snap at the moment and killed the stepmom that she's like, fuck, now I'm in trouble because Dad's going to know what I did. How am I going to get out of this situation? So she knows she's got to kill him just to make it look like something else happened, so maybe she can get away with it. So because it's such a long ago tale, we really don't know, but that's what's cool about it, is because we can look from all the angles.
Yeah, you have to wonder, because it wasn't like the dad was planned. It like he came home at an unusual hour, so he wasn't supposed to be there.
All right.
So who knows? I mean, maybe there was no intent to kill him. It's hard to say. I think it's one of the mysteries of this case for sure. But the giggling on the stairs, that is definitely fucking creepy as fuck.
Either way, Dad would have figured it out either way. So definitely he had to
Again,
go.
This
He had to
sounds
go.
like a King
it's another-
Diamond album, is what this story sounds like, with the giggling and the axe murdering. And
It's another
all
addition
that.
to your
But
story.
weren't they saying that she fucking, when he got home, she helped him into bed though, and like put him to bed? Lizzie did.
Oh, Lizzie did. I
Supposedly
thought
took his
Maggie.
shoes
Yeah.
off and shit.
Yeah, they
Maybe it
they
was.
said
Maggie.
that. I think
Okay.
it was Maggie, because she said that she helped him take his boots off and put on his slippers.
Okay.
But in that death photo, he's got boots,
Boots on, yeah.
So that was a little
Yeah.
inconsistency with Maggie's story, but pretty minor. I
Yeah.
mean, this was a traumatic fucking thing to happen. I mean,
Right?
that's fucked up. So, I mean, anybody would be like discombobulated and maybe be off on a detail like that. Who knows?
No, more like, I don't know what the fuck happened, dude. You see this place? What the
Exactly.
shit, dude?
So it makes me, to me, it makes it difficult to say that someone from outside the family did this, only because the stepmom was killed like an hour to an hour and a half later, or, before the father. So, what's the person going to kill that woman and then hang out and like watch like a
Right.
couple of episodes of the Golden Girls and then
Right?
go kill the dad when he comes
Come
home?
on.
It just seems kind of strange. Like, I don't know why you would do that. That doesn't make any sense. So really,
Dude,
I think it's
because timing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I could just kill this bitch right now. Nobody's gonna know.
I don't know.
Whatever,
It just
yeah.
and the thing is Lizzie and Maggie were there. So if it was an outsider, neither of them saw an outsider here. So it just, I don't know. It just makes you wonder. And in that house, it's not like you're able to navigate through it without being seen.
Right?
There's no, hallway or
Doesn't
something.
add up at all.
No, it really doesn't. So, Chris, the father's asleep on the couch, and what happens to this poor bastard?
Well, he's passed out on the couch, and from what they say, it looks like he was asleep when the fucking violence occurred. The
Yeah.
first whack, he was asleep because he's got a hatchet head or wound to his head that basically split his eye in half, and half of his fucking eye was laying out of the skull
Yeah,
and shit.
it's pretty sick, man.
And he's fucking just fucked up. And just keep going. Like we were saying earlier, the picture of him that's you can find the picture of his crime scene photo, and it's black and white, but you could tell that was somebody's face. Holy fuck, dude. And it just looks like a fucking plate full of goulash.
Yeah, it's
Like-
pretty gory, man. That's why I'm surprised. You think 1892, and that was pretty graphic. But I
Yeah,
mean, back
11
then,
fucking-
that's what they used to study crime scenes were photographs. So
Fucking 11 fucking goddamn hatchet wounds to the fucking head, fucking
yeah,
neck, whatever, just like that area. Like,
yeah, very gruesome, and definitely somebody that would have an emotional tie.
Right.
So it makes sense. It's crazy that some of these pictures I think got out there, but that they leak and somebody gets a hold of it. Now, Joey, the police believe that Andrew was murdered at 11 a.m., and this becomes kind of an issue with the murder case.
Well, yeah, because with her defense, she's trying to claim that other things have happened and it was different, timeline that she was involved in. So it obviously is important whenever it shows what time both her stepmother and her father were killed.
Right.
Fucking, I don't know, fucking killing. Sorry, now I'm all fucking high.
fuck yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What I was gonna say is, in reference to what we were talking about earlier too, with like, okay, so how is she feeling after she kills her mom before she kills her dad?
Right.
The fact that he's asleep and then she kills him while his eyes are closed and doesn't see it coming, and hopefully she won't cause him pain, makes me think that she was a lot more coherent and that it was a lot more planned out. Where if she was the psycho fucking lunatic that had just murdered her
Right.
mom. I think as soon as he would have came
She
in the
would've
door,
went.
she would have started swinging him with, yeah. So I don't know. To me, I think that's what kind of puts me on the fence about which way this was going, as far as if there was a motive, if she did it. But yeah, I mean, this, like you said, Pete. I mean, the whole deal with the times that these murders occurred would become a huge issue in the case, and like Shane said earlier, because forensics this is the first time that this was really brought up and brought to light and used for this investigation.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And I think, the timeline in any murder case is usually very important. And unfortunately, with a lot of this stuff, even yet today, you're dealing with time ranges. You're not getting an exact time of death to the minute. They're saying, 4 to 6 hours ago, And in that Murdaugh trial, which we're getting ready to do here in June, that was huge. I mean, you had like a 10, 15-minute window, and think about your day broken into 10 or 15-minute increments, and just that one sliver was where it all happened. It's fucked up,
And you're talking about a 10 to 15 minute window. In this case, the Borden case,
Hours.
We're talking about
Right.
hours. Yeah, that she could have done anything to clean up a crime.
That's
scene, to
what
clean
I'm
herself
saying.
up.
I don't agree with any of the
Right.
people that are like, oh, she didn't have any blood on her. I mean, seriously,
Like,
Right.
you could easily have changed your clothes. And I know they didn't have indoor plumbing, but I mean, I was in the
But we'll
fucking
get into
army.
what happens.
We did the fucking whore's bath, out of a fucking bucket of water and some soap,
Yup, been there.
So, I mean, you could fucking do it, no problem. And if you've got all this time, I mean, she could have taken a full fucking bath and really cleaned up good and put on another dress. And, we're going to get to what happened to the old one, but, it just, I don't buy any of that kind of stuff. I don't get that. So, that whole timeline thing, definitely interesting with this one. But what do you guys think, Chris? I mean, what do you think about the cleanup end of this?
Duh. Like I said, she had plenty of fucking time. But there was that one dress that got burnt. Like, while the fucking cops are in the house and shit, too, which is fucked up. Like, her sister's like, hey, you probably shouldn't
Yeah, that's
fucking
pretty
do
fucking
that.
suspect.
Like,
Right.
She's like, oh, or was it Maggie? One of the two, I don't remember which, but
No, it was her
burnt
sister.
that dress with the fucking goddamn paint, quotes, paint all over it. I
Right.
spilled some red paint. Oh, body paint.
Yeah,
Dude,
that is just so incredibly
There ain't no
suspicious. You
paint
know?
on that shit. She
I
just,
mean, that's shady as fuck. You're burning a dress the day after it happened with red paint on it. Give me a fucking break. And they were just like, oh, whatever. Like that. To me, that's very, very incriminating.
a lady
for sure.
would never do this.
That's right. That's right.
And it wasn't a common thing for people to be just burning their old clothes. Like that's something you did back
I
then.
mean, why don't they just go to the
Or now, for
Salvation
that
Army?
matter. It's just-
I mean,
Right.
they
right.
got the Salvation Army up there, right, Shane?
Yeah.
All right. So she could have gone to the fucking Salvation Army, but instead she's burning the fucking dress in the fucking oven, which is
Sorry,
just
you're
fucked
breaking
up.
up?
Just fucked up. So the police arrive at the house and they're destroying evidence. I mean, they're just doing this shit. Fingerprints are getting fucking messed with. Things are definitely, not being handled like they, would today, of course. Much, much different time of
Right.
nothing like today. But, they don't like Lizzie's attitude. Apparently she's kind of copping an attitude with the cops. And, she's not acting like they think she should be acting after something so brutal happened in the house, Chris. She's just
No,
acting
she's just
like
fucking,
whatever.
like, she's not crying or anything. She's just like even when the fucking Maggie was like saying, hey, get the cops or whatever, she's just like, didn't even care about getting a hold of the cops at all.
Right.
So it's fucked up.
Yeah, definitely she's acting very suspicious. And then this is pretty gross. They find some bloody rags in a
Oh my
bucket
God.
in the basement, And when she's asked about this, again, can you get any more fucking incriminating?
Dude, I love it.
She says, and they find some blood on her underwear, apparently. She tells them she's having her fucking period. And who's going to fucking dispute that? Apparently, okay. Did you just fucking throw your dirty fucking towels and rags in a bucket?
I mean, that's what they do with their shit and everything. They don't have plumbing and whatnot.
I guess. It just sounds fucking disgusting.
Just saying, oh, that's the bucket I shit in. You think you're gonna go want to go look in that and touch it? No, all fucking female bleeds no matter where it's from. They could just oh, that's my fucking pussy blood. Go ahead, get in there.
So is there I'm just asking, Chris. I mean, not that you would know this because you got plumbing at the Nation.
Yes.
But I mean, do they have a piss bucket, a shit bucket, and a period bucket? I mean, is that
kinda
okay?
You never had a piss bucket in the shed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just confused. I just can't believe it. But I guess if you don't have plumbing, I'm just thinking, can't you just wring them out at least?
Oh my god!
Put them in a Walmart bag and fucking throw them in the garbage.
You know how you reuse it?
Rules of the road, man. You always carry around a piss bucket.
That's right.
Right.
Rules of the road. There you go. Way she goes.
My mouth is the piss bucket.
Yeah, I knew it.
So they also find a hatchet with a freshly broken handle that was in a box in the basement. It's covered with a fine layer of fireplace ash, but they believe that was the murder weapon, and that's currently in a museum that they've got. They showed it in that one documentary I watched. However, they claim that was proven not to be the hatchet because it still had animal hair on it where where they would have used it. So apparently that wasn't it, but it was the medical examiner said that it would have been one like it. So and we all know, in that era, you're chopping firewood. I mean, people had axes and hatchets. We did The Man on the Train, remember?
Right.
He always showed up with nothing because he knew there'd be an axe in the backyard.
Yeah, you just walk in, there's the chopping block.
There you go.
Here we go.
Thank you very much. So originally, though, Lizzie was not a suspect, so her room was not checked very well. So that was another, potential slip up here. And Joey, what was the deal with the stomach contents they checked?
They did the autopsy to check to see if they had poison, inside of them. Because obviously somebody has suspicion about it, so that's smart on somebody's part.
Right.
But it proved that there wasn't. The only kind of poison it might have been was from the mutton stew that had been sitting on. So, for defense purposes, Lizzie's cleared on that aspect.
Right. So the trial starts June 5th, 1893, almost a year after the murders. Like Shane was saying earlier, it was a fucking media circus, for this time especially, and people are just going nuts trying to get in the courtroom and all that.
Dude, the fact it's the fucking late 1800s and it gets all over the country as fast as it did.
Right. And right after the Ripper, so, that would have been true crime. People definitely had an appetite for it. And
Sick Ripper!
Shane, but this would be the first time the AP would put this kind of trial out on the wire every day. What was up with that?
That's right, the Associated Press, and so the entire states was getting daily updates on this trial. Lasted for 15 days, and the saying, "If it bleeds, it leads."
Yep.
And this was basically the first nationally broadcast sensationalized media circus. And before this, if you didn't have a reporter on the scene, couldn't cover groundbreaking daily updates. That was it.
Right.
So this was a pretty significant moment in journalism and helped the Lizzie Borden turn it into a national sensation as well as cementing it into history.
Definitely,
yeah, and I wonder, too, we were talking about how it got out in the States. I wonder, Shane, how it was like up in Canada. I mean, obviously we're, close neighbors and all that, so I'm sure you guys were getting the information, but maybe not quite.
I would assume, yeah.
Maybe
I would assume it was in the paper and everything.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I don't know it's hard to imagine, a time so far back, but they were able to get the word out, and that was the first time that had ever been done for a trial. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's not too far away from the Toronto area, so
That's true.
I'm sure they heard of it there.
Oh, for sure. I did see that the prosecution brought the actual skulls of the victims into the courtroom, which is pretty brutal. And then I saw there was some sort of incident where by mistake they got knocked down to the floor. And Lizzie fucking faints, which I'm wondering if it was one of those, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Dude.
Type of moments where she was like, oh, this is going to play really well to the jury, and just fall down and faint.
I think it was more
Faking
like,
it.
I think it was probably more like walking in. It's like, okay, all you people here for a reason. Help me put this 3D jigsaw puzzle together. I don't even know where these pieces go because the skull's just dismantled.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, she was kind of like pulling a Jesse Smollett there thing. I think she
Yeah,
was just
right?
totally faking this whole thing. And as a matter of fact, one of those the body language channel I like to watch on YouTube, they picked apart the Jesse Smollett stuff, and it's fucking hilarious. It was pretty
That's
funny.
fucking good.
Yeah, he was totally lying about all of it. So, Chris, she had the big lawyers, and we all know that, the money can buy them, and
When you got
she had some big names.
She got daddy's money, dude. Fucking, she got good ass lawyers, and they fucking had her dressing and whatnot, making her look like she was this young, innocent,
Right.
fucking nobody. And not
Right.
nobody, but she's rich. She's empowered. So now you got to look the part like you didn't do anything because there's no proof.
Right.
So go with it. And it was an all male jury because
Back
back
then.
then women weren't even allowed to be on the jury.
Yeah, I saw like 1927 or something like that. That was like, holy shit, that's crazy,
Right.
But again, different era for sure.
But fucking, they worked it out pretty good, and the jury fucking,
They bought it, man.
they bought her shit.
They bought it, that's for sure. And Joey, the jury all male, but we know, 30 years would be till women would actually be on juries in the state of Massachusetts. But the jury was not out for very long with this case.
Now only 90 minutes, and they came back and they gave her an acquittal. It was. I mean, back then, do you really put a woman as the person that would do something like this? So
Right.
that was probably somewhat some of the reasonable doubt. I don't know. 90 minutes doesn't seem like that long, but it seems like they must have already had it made up in their head which way they were
Well,
going to go.
check this out,
Now-
Joey. One thing I watched about the case said that the one juror said it took them a half hour.
And they just sat
And they,
Oh, for the
they
actual,
stayed another
decision.
hour because they thought people would think they
They
came to
didn't
their
actually-
decision
yeah.
too fast.
They're basically
Yeah.
just sitting in there.
So
like,
that's
what
how
up?
sure
Yeah.
they were of this. They were like, nope.
Yeah.
So definitely, just curious, how that fucking, I don't know.
Well, and whenever they read off the acquittal, charge, and the crowd was like, or the jury and the onlookers, everybody in the
Cheered.
courtroom, like they were like happy
Yeah.
about it, yeah. And later on, that kind of transitioned and changed, and
Yeah.
people didn't like the idea, and I think it was just because people had more time to think about it and actually, think about the clues and the things like that themselves, and be like, wait, maybe some of this shit isn't really matching up, and then you have to wonder, well, nobody got charged with this crime either, so there's still a monster maybe in the community, and it could be them. Fuck that. That's fucking scary.
That's
dude.
true, man.
Also, women's rights, man. See what you guys did to yourselves? You could have got away with murder, but no, you had to.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So amazing. 90 minutes, they're out, and so they wind up cheering, and the attorneys got her off of this one. Now Lizzie and Emma wind up moving into their house on the hill finally, in the town that they were from, Fall River. Kind of amazing. She didn't leave, but she was just like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna live here. This is where I'm from, and I like it here." And she's defiant. She's spoiled, and she's up on the hill.
got
I
all
saw she
daddy's
changed
money
her
now.
name to Lisbeth,
Lisbeth, yeah.
Borden. Very
I've seen
creative there. She could have come up with some cool fucking name, Mr. T,
Mr.
whatever. but she comes up with this Lisbeth Borden. And she's got all this money. She had like $9 million. She names the home. I always think that's just so fucking just hoity-toity when they name their home Maplecroft is what she called her home. So
Shit, yeah.
give me a break.
It's a good name.
So they seem like they were, more into that kind of stuff. I wonder if I should name my house,
Fuck yeah, you should fucking name it Den of Hell.
It's Horns High Studios.
Right, it's already Horns High Studios.
That's true. So Shane, Lizzie's, getting all these high society parties, and then she hangs out with this actress. What was the deal with that? Because now we're getting into the more sensational, salacious side of the story.
Yeah, she was hanging out with old Nancy O'Neill, and a little bit of gossip going on that they were lesbians, and this really was the breakup around this time between Lizzie and her sister Emma. It was the beginning of the end of the relationship between them, and
Yeah.
see, Emma, she was a bit more reserved. She really didn't like all this Hollywood bullshit and the parties, and
Right.
didn't care for that stuff. More of an introvert, and
Yeah.
yeah, so and after the old double murder, things just weren't the same. For them to be estranged and never ever reconcile kind of points to some deep personal and emotional issues at play,
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
if you follow the theory of the whole failed poisoning attempt, Emma might have actually been a potential victim of Lizzie's at one time, eh?
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I think deep down, Emma, she knew the truth of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
agree
think
with
I think that's the truth. And like you said, she just wasn't about, all these parties and all this shit. And she ends up moving to New Hampshire and lives the rest of her life as a recluse, basically. So kind of sad. But oddly, the two of them died only a few days apart in 1927. Lizzie,
was weird.
Yeah, it is really weird. Lizzie was 66. She died of pneumonia, and she donated, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of money to animal rescues and things like that. She also left money to friends and relatives, and she had about $5 million in today's money when she died. So she had a pretty good chunk of change still from Daddy's $9 million. So
Hey, dude, when Dad doesn't get you fucking indoor plumbing,
that's right.
get it yourself somehow, motherfucker.
So even though she was acquitted of the charges, most people thought she was a murderer. They really kind of shunned her. She was really kind of ostracized. So it is amazing with the money she had that she didn't just uproot and leave, and say, fuck you guys. But
It's just weird.
Very
Change
defiant.
your name, but stay in the town.
yeah,
Nobody recognized you at all in the same town you just committed these orders. They can change your name.
yeah.
Don't make sense.
No, it really doesn't. It's weird. But there were a few
Dude, the fucking
alternate.
kids would come up to the house and sing that nursery rhyme at her too, dude.
Yeah, that's fucked up. So there were a few suspects they claimed, were mentioned. I didn't really get into the details on those. To me, this is so obviously her. I mean, I honestly don't know what else, what other conclusion you could logically come to. I mean, am I missing something, guys, or do you guys think that she did this, or what do you think?
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Guilty as charged.
Okay.
There's too
And
much evidence.
legally, right? If you've got an attorney saying, there's no evidence, there's no that, and all that, and a jury's like, look, we might feel she did do it, but she's not guilty in the eyes of the law. So, there's that, and we don't know exactly what the laws were at the time, and was the burden of proof higher, lower, what the deal was back then? Don't know.
I mean, could you still do a straight up duel in the 1890s? Like,
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think
high
they were
noon,
doing
fucking-
that late, but I don't know. But yeah, it's just a interesting discussion, and the fact that they died, so close to each other, is really strange, and the fact that they.
How many of them were really religious on the jury panel and couldn't imagine that sending a woman
To go
guilty
die.
would
Right.
Yeah, they would go to hell for that. You know, what I'm
That's a
saying?
good point too. But with all the overkill, everybody take a drink. Then I think it also points to her just because of the rage and the knowing them and all that. So I was watching this one documentary and they showed this sheet music about Lizzie Borden, and it was just this real quick song title. I kind of caught it, and I had to wind it back it up a couple times, paused it, and then I read it, and it said, "You can't chop your papa up in Massachusetts." And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So Jenny, she's sitting there next to me. She pulls it up on her phone on YouTube, and it's this fucking clip, and I'm going to play it for you guys so you could listen to this. It's fucking hilarious. So hang on here.
It's fucking good.
It is.
Elizabeth Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. And when the job was nicely done, she gave her father 41. Yesterday in Old Fall River, Mr. Andrew Borden died, and he got his daughter Lizzie on a charge of homicide. Some folks say she didn't do it, and others say of course she did. But they all agree Miss Lizzie B was a problem kind of kid. 'Cause you can't chop your papa up in Massachusetts, not even if his plan is a surprise. A surprise! So you can't chop your papa up in Massachusetts. You know how neighbors love to criticize.
All right, so you can't chop your papa up, Chris. In
You definitely
Massachusetts.
can't do that.
Or your mama. So.
Yeah, right.
Fucking hilarious. So yeah, go on YouTube, listen to the whole thing. It's like 3 minutes long, but it's
So
pretty
good.
funny. Anything to add to this one, guys? Lizzie Borden.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I got a couple things here.
Yeah,
I
Shane.
don't know
Yeah.
if we mentioned this stuff already, but there's been a couple of theories out there saying that it might have been an incestuous relationship between Lizzie Borden and her father, and that could have been one of the contributing
Oh, I
motives.
did see that, dude. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and also it's been portrayed that she committed the crimes buck naked in order to avoid getting blood on her
Right,
clothes
yeah.
and to allow for easier cleanup, but that might be just sensationalized.
Well,
Sex
you know,
sells
Shane,
to sell to Hollywood.
I saw something on that, Shane, and they said that it was the Elizabeth Montgomery version of the story.
Yeah.
That in that version of it is where that started. So
So that's just
It could be
sensational
bullshit.
Hollywood bullshit.
it could be because you know
Yeah.
she did have that dress with the red paint on it. So I'm thinking she probably had just a different dress on and.
Yeah, so the Borden house right now, it's still around. It's a bed and breakfast with a gift shop and online
dude, you
merch.
go there
You
and
can
do
get
that
Lizzie
shit.
Borden bobbleheads, t-shirts, hats. You could even get the official Lizzie Borden hatchet. And
Oh wow!
it's a very popular location with the ghost hunter crowd, and they've done
Yeah.
a few TV shows in there.
Yep. Yeah.
And oddly enough, this isn't the first time that the Borden family made headlines in Fall River. 20 years earlier, Lizzie's great uncle, who lived right next door, his wife murdered 2 of their children, dumped their bodies in the cistern, and then committed suicide by slashing her own throat with a straight razor.
God
God
damn.
damn! Wow!
Son of a bitch, eh?
Holy
You
shit!
did some deep diving,
Yeah,
dude. Holy
Shane.
shit.
Putting in that work. Thanks, Shane. That's good stuff. Yeah, I did not hear that. That's pretty brutal. And I'm surprised we didn't hear that because that adds a whole new, little texture to this story. Kind of like the Murdaugh trial where it's like there's this, there's like 7 different things going on all at once.
Apparently, it was mentioned in the trial somewhere because they just wanted to. The prosecutor just wanted to basically say, "Yeah, your whole fucking family's crazy."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could see that being prejudicial and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I did this one watching, some YouTube documentaries. There were some good ones out there. I watched something on Prime as well. There's, just so much of this. I read a lot of things, probably more than what I watched, but, good stuff out there, plenty of it. But like with all these cases, you want to listen to different sources and kind of formulate your own opinion because, you just listen to one thing, and especially if it's one of the more kooky type
Right.
Documentary, sometimes the information is inaccurate. So you always want to, kind of do that thorough work. But Shane, thanks for coming on to talk some Lizzie Borden with us, man.
Hell
And
yeah,
a
thank
nice U.S. case, dude. So
Yeah, right on, boys.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
always a pleasure to talk with the Murder Metal Mayhem crew, and thanks for
Awesome.
having me on.
Of
Anytime,
course,
dude.
of course. You're always welcome here. And next week, guys, we're going to Oklahoma. Now, we were talking about some giggling on the stairs tonight. This bitch, Oklahoma, 1927 to 1954, a woman by the name of Nanny Doss,
Giggling grin.
the giggling granny, the original Lonely Hearts killer, not confused with our Lonely Hearts
Right, no, no.
killers, plural. She was a solo Black
But
Widow
she
and
fucking-
Lady Bluebeard. So she has a bunch of nicknames. She's like Ray McFall.
Lady Bluebeard it does not sound attractive, man.
No, and that was what they called
I know,
Dalgonis,
yeah,
too.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I
the
did-
giggling granny, love that one. That's next week. But she's a sort of female H.H. Holmes, where she was all involved in the insurance scams. She had 11 known victims involving some spouses and doing some shit like that for mostly insurance money. She was the scammer of scammers. So very interesting case. She was
like
a mom.
Dorothy Puente.
Yeah, kind of like that. So she fits that murdering mom of May theme that we've been doing this month, and that'll wrap it up. That'll be the last one next week, so that'll be a good one.
And then
but
we're
man-
not doing no more females for a fucking year.
Yeah, and then June, Chris, we're doing all dads, right? We're
Yes,
doing
sir.
dad.
Fucked up dad cases.
We got
Oh,
some
yeah.
good ones. Do you think we should tell them what we're doing for June?
We
Just-
could tell them. Fuck
all
yeah.
right. So first week is going to be Alex Murdaugh.
All right.
Yeah.
And then the second week is the Ariel Castro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland.
Yeah, that's going to be
Goddamn.
brutal. And then the third week is Lionel Dahmer. We're telling the story. Joey, why don't you tell why we're doing that? Because I really like that idea you had.
Yeah, well, we were thinking about what dads we could do for our murdering dads of June, and
Right?
we had some good ones, but it was I just for whatever reason Lionel Dahmer popped in my head because you see a lot about that angle of Jeffrey Dahmer as his dad, like he
Right.
was very in
Very
the public
vocal.
eye after all of this, yeah. So
Yeah.
and he's a very sincere guy too, which I admire that instead of being somebody who's looking like he's trying to get clout
get
or,
clout,
or
yeah,
the press.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, so I thought that'd be a good one. So we're gonna do that. Plus, it's a little bit different angle, which is always fun to do.
Yeah, I really love the idea. And then we're going to close it out with Chris Watts, which is going
Oh
to
my
be brutal
God,
as
fucking
fuck.
Chris Watts.
So that's sick, motherfuckers. So that's going to be brutal for June, all dads. So a little palate cleanse from doing these murdering moms this month. So
Oh yeah, it's way less murder.
yeah, some pretty brutal stuff definitely to come. But Joey, any good page of days for us?
Yeah, I got two of them. Page a day, fucking keeping it up. So the first one's a little bit longer and the last one's short, but it's a funny one to get us out of the mindset of the first one, which is kind of brutal. So they're talking about Rebecca White. So Rebecca White was a student along with Claudia Brenner, and they were hiking the Appalachian Trail in Pennsylvania in 1988 in May, and that's when they encountered Stephen Roy Carr. Now, the couple parked their car at Dead Woman's Hollow. I mean, come on, don't
That's
park
a
Right.
fucking what?
Yeah, that's a
Not a
terrible
good idea. Bad idea.
So they parked their car at Dead Woman's Hollow, set up camp near Birch Run Shelter on South Mountain in Meechaw State Forest for the night. Now, on the morning of May 13th, White, because they think that they're completely alone out there. They don't think that there's anybody else. So she walks nude to Birch Run Shelter, and that's where she saw a car for the first time. He's sitting there. He asked her for a cigarette. She said she don't have... I mean, she's naked. How the hell is she going to have a cigarette? She said she didn't have one. And she returns to camp to instruct Brenner to get dressed because they weren't alone in the area. Unnerved by the encounter, they decide to move their campsites to a little more private location. And as they pass the Birch Run shelter, the women saw Carr. He was still there, and they called out in passing, "See you later," expecting that they would never see him again.
I think I've heard this before for real.
So 30 minutes after they leave their original campsite, they stop at an intersection. As they check their map, Carr, who sometimes, this dude, he lived in a nearby cave sometimes, so this motherfucker knows the territory.
Yeah,
right.
He comes up behind them carrying a .22 caliber rifle across his shoulders. He stops 25 feet away from the couple and shouts, "Are you lost already?" And they respond, "No, are you?" And later on, Carr said that they said that in a fucking pissy way. They were freaked out by him again, and as the day wears on, and they relax in their vacation, distracted by the strenuous hike and invigorated by the beautiful scenery, they got a little more calmed down. But they set up camp at another site, eat dinner, and then they begin having sex. They have no idea that Carr's just 80 feet away watching them. So this motherfucker's creep.
yeah, he is.
Creepy.
Jesus.
God damn.
So he comes up and he fucking opens fire on him. Brenner, who was sitting up, was hit in the arm and face and twice in the neck before White shouted at her to get down. She pressed her body against the ground but was shot once more on the top of her head. White had been shot twice, once in the head and once in the back, and the latter shot ruptured her liver. Carr fired an 8th shot, but it missed both women. Now, just to clarify, the reason why this dude's taking so many shots and these women are still, like, fighting is because this is a .22 caliber
Right, yes,
rifle.
yes.
Right.
This is a weak-ass gun, but it's still a gun at the same time, but, like, he's literally shooting him in the fucking head and everything else. So when the barrage is over, White finds herself unable to stand, so Brenner goes to get help. She makes her way to the nearest road 3 miles away and hitches a ride to the police station in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. She tells the police everything except she did leave out that her and White were lesbians because, you know, this is
At the time.
back then. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So when the police responded to the scene, they found that White had died from her injuries. Brenner learned of White's death while she was in the hospital being treated for her own injuries. So Carr left 25 rounds of ammunition and his hat at the scene. He believed both women were dead, and he probably expected that the bodies wouldn't be found for a while, but
Right.
the police released a composite drawing of him made with Brenner's help, like, right away. Now, he hid out in a nearby Mennonite community, and of course the residents, they don't watch TV or read the news, so for 10 days he's holed up there. Nobody fucking knows where he is until all of a sudden there's this one Mennonite who secretly watched TV,
Right,
and he
right.
saw this sketch of Carr, and he fucking told the police. Carr was arrested, charged with 1st and 3rd degree murder, attempted murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault. His attorney, who was Michael George, he explained that there were several possible defenses, including the insanity defense, but Brenner confirmed in a preliminary hearing that she and White were dating. He settled on a version of the gay panic defense, which back then that was literally a defense that they used
Right.
because people were afraid.
that-
Yeah.
Yep.
So George claimed that Carr became inexplicably enraged when the women teased, taunted, and provoked him by walking around nude and being intimate while they thought they were completely alone. He also raised Carr's history of being sexually abused himself. So what was crazy, now this is in Massachusetts, so
That's
I believe
funny.
this
It's from
is-
Massachusetts.
no, or Pennsylvania. I can't remember. But whatever it was a conservative state at the time, and they actually went with the decision to rule against White and Brenner's sexual orientation becoming admissible, but they also ruled against Carr's own sexual trauma being allowed too. So that was like 2 blows to the defense right there.
Right.
He decides at that point that he's just going to take a plea deal to avoid the death penalty, and he's sentenced to life in prison without parole. In 1991, he files an appeal on the grounds that his history of sexual trauma should have been admissible, but that was denied. There was, in 1999, Carr claimed that, yes, he was feeling resentment towards that woman for parading around, but what actually happened was that he accidentally shot them when a deer he was hunting ran in front of them, and he shot that instead, which, is obviously bullshit.
Right. Yeah. That's dumb.
Right.
So anyway, that was the story of Rebecca White and how she passed away. So
Yeah.
that was a pretty wild case. Now, the last one I got from Page Today, like I said, this one's a little more funny because I wanted to go out on this one. But so from 1996 till the mid 2000s, in the city of Patiala in the Punjab region of India, there was a jail that housed monkeys. Like. It was a 15-foot cell located in a zoo, and it was covered by a chain link fence and wire mesh to prevent any prison breaks. And the inmates were dozens of the region's more than 65,000 monkeys. And these were specifically ones that had become uncontrollably aggressive. Most of them were thieves.
So they put them
stole
all
food.
together.
Yeah,
It's
they stole
prison.
food, clothes, lunch boxes, backpacks. Some of them were destructive. They ripped up lawns, smashed flower pots, defecating in water tanks.
Jeez.
Some were violent. Some were slapping and biting people, and they were threatening children with bricks. I mean, that's some gangster-ass shit.
That's just straight up.
It
fucking-
is. Jesus.
You
So,
are a very, very naughty monkey.
very, very naughty.
so,
There's a brick, kid.
So, of course, there's complaints from the animal rights activists. They're not fucking stoked on this. So, the former jail was converted into a reform school for the monkeys in 2009 with the intention of rehabilitating the delinquent primates in the area rather than locking them up. Since then, the reform school has been extended into the neighborhood forest with enough space for 100 monkeys. A quarantine area and a veterinary hospital were also built near the site. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh,
go
shit.
to India and you can go to monkey jail.
Oh, man. Fucking brutal. Page a day, though. Good stuff. All right.
I love how they put all the criminals together in one box.
Right.
Go.
All right, guys. Well, we have done our fair share of murdering tonight. I think it's about time to crank up the metal. So, Shane, what the fuck do we need to do? Fuck yeah. Brutal.
Yeah.
Just because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you.
All right. Always in CK's name.
Great metal motherfucker.
You know it. Always throwing up the horns over there with his Metal Blade shirt on, CCK. And all right, well, we are in the metal segment, and that means that since
We eat
CK,
Pop-Tarts.
That
We
means
eat
those
Pop-Tarts.
fucking goddamn Applejack Pop-Tarts.
I
are
found
fucking
them.
Fire, yeah.
Me and Chris are eating some Applejack Pop Tarts here at Horns High, and
God
Joey,
damn, they're good.
Joey, what are you doing? Fitting to the episode.
Yeah, I was gonna go Apple Jacks as well, and I saw the Boston cream pie ones in the cupboard, and I was like,
Oh.
Lizzie Borden, Boston cream pie, got to do it.
There
Fucking
you
right
go.
you do.
Nice tie-in always. And
You think Lizzie Borden ever got a cream pie?
I don't know.
Ah,
Not
from
sure
her
about
daddy.
From her
Ew,
dad.
ouch.
Oh, man.
So yeah, so we, now that CK's been gone, we take this segment and we share it. And so each week we take a turn. And so this week, Joey, you got the horns, and you got those brutal goat horns, man.
I do. Fucking, they've been passed digitally through the screen. I have
right.
them in my hands.
Excellent.
And,
So you get to pick the topic today.
yep. And this week I wanted to do an individual who means a lot to a lot of people in the metal world, and that dude is James Murphy. Now,
Fuck yeah, dude. Legend.
James Murphy, he was born July 30th, 1967 in Virginia. Now, he's most known as a death metal guitarist. He started off in Hallows Eve from Atlanta, Georgia back in 1989, and then quickly joined Death for the Spiritual Healing album.
Yeah.
I didn't know he
and-
was in Hallows Eve.
Yeah, I don't know if he did any recording with them or he was just jamming with them for a while,
Okay.
but I believe that's how he got in contact with Chuck. But anyway, then he joins Death for Spiritual Healing in 1990, and he, on that album, James Murphy actually wrote 4 of the tracks on that album. So that's a pretty fucking
That's huge.
yeah, that's a pretty big fucking inclusion for that.
Oh, yeah.
In 1990, James Murphy also recorded Obituary's Cause of Death album and played guitar on that, which that was fucking amazing. So that's just 2 huge albums coming out the same year. Of course, both recorded and everything down at Morris Sound Studios in Tampa.
In Tampa, fuck yeah.
Yep. In 1991, he is on the Cancer album Death Shall Rise as the main guitarist for that. In 1992, he starts the band Disincarnate, and they released a demo called Soul Erosion, and they followed it up in 1993 with the fucking huge-ass album called Dreams of the Carry-On Kind, which we're going to play the bumper music as a track off of that.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Now, so James Murphy, obviously this dude's making a name for himself. He's huge in death metal, which had just blown up. This is like literally the heyday of death metal right now. So what's he do to expand himself? 1994, he joins Testament.
God damn.
They record the album Low, and he actually wrote the song Hail Mary that's on that album. Now, if you listen to this CD, Testament all the way up till then, and then this album, you fucking hear the heaviness that he brought with him to this. And you can tell that the band wanted to evolve a little bit in that direction, which is awesome. The self-titled track Low, that song's so heavy. And then the song Dogface Gods, that song just
I love that
kills it.
song, yeah.
Yep. In 1996, he starts his solo project, James Murphy, and he releases Convergence, and then Feeding the Machine in 1998. In that time, also 1997, he's in the band Konkra, which is a band from Denmark, and he was on the album Weed Out the Week, and then he was also on 1999's Come Down Cold. He went back to recording for Testament with The Gathering in 1999, which Pete and I were talking about. It was a fucking awesome album. And on 2002's Demonic, they did a cover of Rapid Fire by Judas Priest. And while James Murphy wasn't on the rest of that album, he was on that cover song.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fuck
so
yeah.
that was cool. Now James Murphy, he says that he doesn't remember recording the Gathering album, and that's because at that time he had surgery shortly after the release because he had a tumor on his brain. He had got that successfully removed.
Nice.
But he had lost some memory, which of course is a side effect of that. And he said he completely doesn't remember the Gathering recordings. Also in that time period, I guess he had rehearsed to replace Marty Friedman in Megadeth.
Oh, wow.
But he also says he doesn't remember that or know if he did any good or not at all.
Oh, my God.
God damn. Has Dave ever said anything about that?
I don't know. That's strange. But so anyway, James Murphy, he was on all those iconic albums. He got through the cancer ordeal, and he continued doing a lot of stuff. He did session work. He would still do recordings and stuff for bands, and he worked with bands like Agent Steel. He worked with Bloodstoke, death metal band One Man out of North Carolina. He worked with Broken Hope, Crotch Duster, Gorguts, Gruesome, Malevolent Creation, Nevermore, Ominous, and we all remember Ominous from back in the day.
Yeah.
He worked with Sarcophagy, Solstice, Summon, Viogression, and then James Murphy. He also he set up his own recording studio called Safe House Productions, and he did mixing and mastering. Now these are just a few bands that I'm mentioning. This dude's like fucking resume with the bands he's worked with is phenomenal. It's fucking tons of shit.
Fucking looking like a CBS list.
Right.
Yeah. So I just picked a few, that I thought were cool. But anyway, he also worked mixing and mastering for bands like Abigail Williams, Aborted, Ailstorm, Avulsed, Drawn and Quartered, Exhumed, Havoc, Impaled, Jungle Rot, Salt the Wound, Scattered Remains, Sigh, and Viral Load. So this dude, he worked with some heavy shit. He worked with some badass shit. James Murphy, just a cool ass dude, very iconic. wrote some of the most amazing riffs I've ever heard in my life. And,
Yeah.
It's cool to see him still working in the scene and still there, you know.
Yeah, he is a good dude, and like you said, Joey, so influential on so many fucking guitar players. I mean, think about how many fucking guitar players started playing because of those albums. You know, that's crazy. So, unbelievable contribution to the world of metal for sure. So awesome. All right, Chris, you got the Lost Classic tonight. What are we doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing because I've been jamming at fucking 2002's fucking Murder Dolls, Beyond the Valley of the Murder Dolls. Fucking,
There you go.
I fucking love that shit. It's so fucking good. It's like glamish fucking punk rock. I don't know, but go check that album out. It's so goddamn good.
Okay. All right.
I love to say fuck.
What about what have you been listening to lately, Joey? I know you've been kind of on the run, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But what have you been jamming over there?
I've been jamming all kinds of shit. Crane Flesh put out a new album that's fucking killer, and I've been jamming that Coat Hanger Abortion Plan C again since I just saw them play, and I don't know, a lot of shit, jamming some shit.
That's cool, Chris. What about you, dude?
Obviously, Murder Dolls.
Right.
And then, dude, I need to write down a list during the week. Like, what am I listening to right now?
Yeah, just,
because I forget, dude. I just play random shit and I listen to it. But the Murder Dolls has like been a thing that I've been listening to. For
That's
some
cool.
reason.
I've been jamming some Cannibal Corpse, the Gore Obsessed album,
Hell yeah.
because the MP3 player or the MP3 search that I use when I can't find it on Bandcamp pulled up the whole album at about the same price it would be to just get Hatchet to the Head. So I just downloaded the whole album, you know.
Right.
So I paid for it, but downloaded it. So yeah, jamming that, so brutal. Flotsam and Jetsam, Blood in the Water, their last album. I'm telling you, that is a really good one. I liked it at the time. But now giving it some time and then going back to it, it's fucking amazing. It's really good. Also, the new Creeping Death single that they did with Corpse Grinder on vocals, really good. I'm going to play a little bit of that later on. And then also some Slayer, God Hates Us All, just fucking jamming that shit. So,
Good album.
yeah, it is a good
Fucking
one.
right.
All right, Joey, well, let's hear about the experience you had down there in Tampa going to the Grindfest show.
Yeah, man, fucking it was awesome. We went down to fucking Tampa, Florida. Stephanie went with me. Played a Goremacher show for Tampa Bay Grindfest. It was awesome, man. We got to do a lot of shit while we were down there. I had a big ass alligator jump out of fucking
Yeah, I seen that shit.
out of the bushes on the trail that we were walking. That was
Eric
really
must
cool
love
thing.
fucking taking you in the alligator infested areas, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, I wouldn't go do that shit by myself just because I'm an idiot, so I don't know. and that shit was like, man, like you're seeing alligators, and Chris went down there with me last time. Chris and his brother Michael, so they saw it too. But you're seeing all the shit around you, and you're like trying to find shit in the fucking swamps and shit. So it's almost like a game, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I spot one there. There's one. You see some big critters, but it was a whole different situation when one of them just came unexpectedly bumbling out in front of us.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it was a big one, too. And fucking, I remember looking back, and Stephanie just fucking stopped in her tracks like she was done. She wasn't going nowhere.
Oh, yeah, nope. I go nowhere closer to that fucking
I got
thing.
a little bit closer so I could take some pictures, but man, no, it was intimidating. Anyway, so we went down there for the fucking show though, and Tampa Grindfest was fucking awesome this year.
Awesome.
I got a little bit I'm going to share in Mayhem too about this. There's something funny that happened, but fucking we get there and there's fucking now I'm trying to find the fucking there we go. The bands that played, so Blasphemation, which is Eric's band, and we've actually been sponsored through them. Tampa Grindfest. Eric and his wife Christy are the coolest. They are the ones that brought me down there again and helped me out with such a good time. But they are also like true ass supporters and listeners to our podcast, which is awesome.
Fucking right.
That is
Thank
cool.
you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody down there that digs what we're doing. Speaking of which, besides Blasphemation, Minstrel Moonshine played, and that's my buddy Chaz and Noah. And, dude, that fucking band is fucking great. And they also, Chaz told me, he was like, man, I listen to every single episode of your guys' podcast while I'm at work. And I was like, bro, that's fucking cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that, and I told them we'll get one of their fucking songs, bumper music, up on a fucking episode soon.
Yeah.
I did a Goremonger set there. It was fucking awesome. One thing I can say about Tampa is they get what I'm doing with my kind of music, and they love it. And, I mean, it wasn't like the most packed show of all time, but it was definitely fucking decent. And for my set, I had a great crowd for it, so I ain't mad at that. Shining Wizard played, Swamp Gas played, which that was cool. They hadn't played a show in I think 3 years. Kill Division fucking headlined the first night. They were fucking awesome. The second day, fucking another one of Chaz's bands, Come Soak Corpses Leaking Rectal Discharge. So they were fucking great. Blunt Force Trauma, fucking Abraded played. They were from Ohio. They're from Cleveland, so that was awesome. And I got to make a little bit of connections with them and let them know that I'm in the Ohio area now. So that's cool. And then, oh my god, so one of my favorite bands of the weekend, and they were from Jacksonville, Florida, and they're called Cute and Cuddly Kittens. And these dudes they're straight tupa grindcore, fucking awesome as fuck, but they killed it for sure. Vilus Breed played. They played the last time I was down there. Mommy's Little Monsters. Collapser, they were pretty badass. And then, of course, Coat Hanger Abortion was the headliner for the second night, and they had played the 2021 also. Yeah. But they had such a fucking badass set. Coming off that new release of Plan C, Coat Hanger Abortion just fucking badass. It was a fucking fun-ass time. Stephanie had a good time. All the people were cool. I told the story, you know, about cripples making me LMFAO, about Springfield, about when the dude blew his fingers off and shit. Yeah. And then they come up to me after after my set, the bartender and the bar owner, and they're fucking dying. They're like, oh my god, check this out. They're like, we give this dude shit all the time. The bar owner, he's cool. And he fucking holds his hand up and he's missing his two middle fucking fingers and shit. And so they're like, next time you play that song, you come down here, you have to make it for him and fucking tell a stupid ass story. I was like, hell yeah.
That's awesome. Nice.
So this was at the Brass Mug too, which that's an iconic fucking bar.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So this owner, dude, he got so fucking drunk. It was so fucking awesome. But he's in the bar. He catches me in the bar and he's at the urinal just pissing, looking back, talking to me and shit. And I'm like, I'm stuck, and he's just like telling me about how like No Doubt played there before they were big, and how Gwen Stefani, she wasn't even old enough to drink back then, you know, and she was like all punk rock, and he was telling me about how Marilyn Manson played there when he was with the Spooky Kids and all that shit, you know, and he's just lit as fuck, and he's like, and now look at me, I'm just an asshole holding my dick at the urinal talking shit.
That's fucking great.
and the best part about that dude is he's from Toledo. He's from the 419.
Nice.
So
419.
all night we're talking shit. I was like 419, and he just started laughing his ass off, patting me on the back. But no, fucking Tampa Grindfest. That was a great ass time. Again, thanks to Eric, Christy. Fucking, you guys put on a hell of a show. The Brass Mug.
That's awesome.
Like I said, I got a little something else in Mayhem I'm going to tell, but for the most part, that was the show. It was great. Awesome. Support that shit.
That's fucking cool, dude.
Right,
Glad
man.
You had a good time. And then you got another one coming up in Chicago.
I do, May 20th, so that's going to be the Saturday after this episode comes out, 2023.
Yep.
And I'm playing with Syphilic, I'm playing with fucking Celestial Serpent, me, Goremonger, the homies of Murder Complex, and then Demagogue, and that's at Magoo's in Chicago, so come out to that.
Okay, very cool.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm a little upset about? The day this episode drops, Ugly Kid Joe's playing in St. Charles.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, fuck.
Yeah, I always hate when concerts come like real close to each other and can't go to both. So I got the horns next, and I'm going to be doing my feature on Blood Red Throne. So I've been digging on those guys lately, and Chris and I have been talking about them here, and we all have. But I did that interview with Stian Gunderson, the bassist, and I'm going to play a little bit of that. We did release that already, but not everybody listens to those, so I'll play a little piece of that and do my feature next week on Blood Red Throne. Okay. So
Fuck yeah.
All right. So bands, if you're in one and you want to send us your stuff, you can do that at pete@murdermetalmayhem.com, or you can send it old school to Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois 61745. Throw in some stickers. We might
We
put
like
it on the door.
stickers, dude. We just put some new ones on the door, actually.
Yeah,
Door and table.
the Nassau County Medical Examiner
Oh,
stickers.
hell yeah.
Yeah, did I put one of them? It just kind of looks like a logo you'd have on your door.
Yeah, like
But
an
it just
office
said-
door.
Yeah, like an office door. Put it up on the window there.
Yeah.
Right up
in-
above the fucking bloody handprints that are streaking down it. So
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Thought
Yeah,
it was
it's good
fitting.
stuff. All right, very cool. And then Joey, anything? I know you've been busy with shows and stuff, but anything you wanted to mention on your distro?
Man, fucking just hit me up. I got some merch. I need to get a new list because I've actually been selling out of a lot of stuff. But I got some new Goremonger in the works. I got some stuff that's already recorded. I got some stuff I'm going to work on. So just pay attention and you'll see some stuff. If anybody wants anything, hit me up here at Murder Metal Mayhem or on the Goremonger page.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, guys, I think we've done plenty of mayhem or metal tonight. I should say we're getting ready to do some mayhem.
Yeah.
So, Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
Mayhem? What y'all motherfuckers know about mayhem? Let's get it on. Good evening. All that talk about banning abortion these days getting you down? Do you need someone to help you to take care of a little problem? Come by the Christie Abortion Clinic today, and you'll be worry-free in a few minutes.
My girl and I went to Christie Abortion Clinic. It worked out great. He did the abortion and it killed her too. I couldn't stand that bitch, and I sure as hell wasn't gonna raise a little crumb snatcher with her dumb ass. Fuck all that shit, I tell you.
There's nothing like a relaxing cup of tea as our coat hangers do the magic inside your uterus while you drift away on natural gas and a plethora of other fun drugs.
oh shit, I'm recording a commercial right now. Fuck. Oh shit, my bad. My wife and I were there last week. Hold on a second. All right, we're good. She's been sick with infection ever since that day, but it's all right. She'll either live or die. But Mr. Christie got rid of that 8-month-old fetus with the fucking biggest smile you've ever seen. Oh my God, that's good. He even let us take her home in a jar. I'm sorry, guys, but this fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich is so good. I don't know what kind of jelly was in that jar in the fridge, but damn, it's good. Thanks, Reg. Appreciate you.
We're located conveniently on 10 Rillington Place in Notting Hill, London. We'll have the natural gas ready. We'll see you soon, and take care of that little fucker.
What the fuck is wrong with us? That was
A plethora of fun drugs.
wow. God damn. Christie Abortion Clinic commercial from a few weeks ago. That was fucking too good to not
That
do
was a good
again.
one, yeah.
And before that, Joey, what was that song we played, dude? That was sick.
That was Disincarnate, Stench of Paradise Burning off of the Dreams of the Carry-On Kind album.
Hell yeah, dude. Very, very cool. All right, well, we are in the mayhem segment, and that's when things get a little crazy, and we tell some stories. And Joey, you said you had a good one inspired from your time down there at the Tampa Death Fest. So
This was just a what the fuck moment story. This was some classic shit. So, background. Now, I played a show. I think the first show that I ever played in Toledo here was this place, the Polish Ostrich. Played with my homies, Alien 666. It was a good ass time. There was this guy there. Now, if you've played enough shows, you start recognizing a certain type of person who that's at a bar. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that's that kind of dude right there.
Right.
So what we had at the bar in Toledo was a dude who was definitely gangsta as fuck, wasted, old school G motherfucker at the bar, listening to the heavy shit and just, wondering what's going on and just having a good time. You know what I'm saying? But he's out of his element, but he's having a good time. So it's like all good.
Sure.
So at the time we're at this show, me and Stephanie are sitting there and this dude comes up to us and he's like, man, this shit's fucking crazy, dog. He's like, I want to record this shit. And he pulls out his phone and he was like, fucking with his phone, and we're sitting there at the table, and he looks over and he's like, ask Stephanie, how do I make this thing record? How do I make it record? And so she's like showing him, gets him to the camera and to the videos. This motherfucker grabs it and doesn't even hit the record button. He's running around up in front of the stage, holding the phone like he's getting some badass shit. But the whole time he's fucking grooving, having a good time, And
that's hilarious.
Like when the it was so funny because like when the kids started moshing and shit, the look on his face, he looked back at us like, what the fuck is going on? And he fucking came back over by our table just laughing, But
That's
anyway,
hilarious.
so we had that experience at the 419. So anyway, fast forward to the Brass Mug this weekend in Tampa, and me and Stephanie are in there. And, it's a fucking fun ass time, and like the last band that's playing is Coat Hanger Abortion. So they're getting fucking ready. They're setting their shit up and shit. And there's this dude who came up into the bar, and he's gangsta as fuck and drunker than shit. And he is just like dude. They're playing. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna tell you one more thing. Okay, I'll tell this afterwards just because it was funny. But anyway, so he comes to the bar, and during the setup for Coat Hanger Abortion, they're just playing like some Sabbath, some straight up Ozzy era Sabbath, And
Right.
this dude's just fucking dancing and shit to this shit, fucking jamming out.
Doesn't know what he's in for and shit.
Yeah, his head's down by where his waist is, and his hands holding his beer way up over his head. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
He's just
I've been there.
swaying, wasted. But he's having a good time, and every time fucking that like harmonica kicks in or whatever, he's just jamming. But so anyway, me and Stephanie are laughing about that. And of course, she's like, "Remember that dude in Toledo?" I'm like, "Oh, obviously, I remember the dude in Toledo." Fuck, I told her, I was like, "This is like a stereo. There's these kind of people at all these shows,
Right. The
or the
person
drunk
that
girl
doesn't
that's
belong
falling
there.
all over, yeah,
There's different people, yeah.
The one super fucking jocked out prep dude that's there that's
Right.
just like watching the metal shit, that don't really get it, but
Like,
anyway,
what's up, bro?
so yeah, so the gangsta dude, he's there and shit, so it's funny, and fucking they're starting to sound check Coat Hanger Abortion. This dude comes back over to our table. Fucking comes up to me and Stephanie. He's fucking talking about shit. He's laughing. He's like, man, these boys about to do something ain't nobody ever seen. And I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he fucking pulls his phone out,
No.
starts holding it up, shaking all over, and he was like, man, you know how to get this thing to the video?
Fucking kid, really?
And I was like, and Stephanie's just like, oh my God. And dude, we're dying. And
That's
I was
hilarious.
so I show him on his phone. I get it to the video spot, and the same thing. He takes off, never hits the record button. He's just holding the phone out in front of Coat Hanger Abortion,
Oh my
like,
God.
yeah, dude. It was such a rich thing, and it's like, like I
Fucking
said,
awesome.
yeah, these people ain't. I mean, these wasn't no bogus people. He was
Right.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
he was just out of his element, and
Totally.
it was funny. But So one other thing I was gonna say too, because I just thought about it, but oh my god! So the drunk ass bar owner, dude, coat hanger abortion. By the time they played, he was so lit. This is after he was in the bathroom.
Right,
talking to
after
me with
the
his dick in
bathroom?
his hand. Yeah, this is after the bathroom.
Oh, God.
dude, he comes walking up to me, and dude, coat hanger abortion set was fucking so goddamn loud. Like it was cool, but it was unnecessarily loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's because the bar owner is just lit up, and he fucking
He just
comes
keeps
over and puts
cranking
his,
it up. Fucking,
dude, he puts his arm around my shoulder, and he's like, "Come here, man." He's like, "Stand right in front of the speakers." He's like, "Stand right here, man." He's like, "I put $20,000 into this after COVID. You hear that shit?" And I'm sitting there like, "Bro, I can tell you did that from the back of the bar.
Wow.
Like, I ain't got to be right here." And he's like telling Stephanie, like, "Come here, check this out. Stand right here." And it was just so fucking funny because he was so lit, having a good time.
fucking
That's
right. Having a
hilarious.
good time. Like, and showing my shit off. Look how loud I can
Yeah.
make this bitch.
That's funny.
No, Brass Mug though, it was a classic time.
That's
fucking
cool.
So good.
Glad you had a good time. All right, well, talking about a good time, guys, we got some killer cage match to get to here, and we're late in an episode, but we're just rolling right the fuck on, and talking Lizzie Borden, we had a lot to say, and had Shane on, which always we have a third or fourth person come on, it definitely extends the episode a little bit. All right, well, we want to say thank you to some listeners that help us pick these random numbers, Chris.
Yeah, we got motherfucking Peggy 419, Sue. Thanks again, Peggy.
Yeah.
We got Colin Rogers once again. Well, thanks again, bro. And Ray Big Pimpin' McFalls. Fuck you. You ain't big pimpin'.
Oh, damn. That's
Thank
not
y'all.
very nice.
Thank y'all.
Hell yeah. And we got a good one going on tonight, Joey.
The candy man, Dean Coral.
Yep.
He's going to be going up against motherfucking Rod Farrell, the Kentucky Vampire, y'all.
Oh, fuck yeah. Does he have a mullet tonight, guys? Rod Farrell?
He always has a mullet.
All right.
He was in his prime.
All right. I just want to make sure. And, Chris, they got a couple of objects that may make this a little interesting.
They got a flathead screwdriver.
And this one is a new one that I added to the list.
And they got a gun that shoots fucking out a super soaker that basically shoots out hot fucking just diarrhea liquid shit. It shoots out liquid shit.
That's pretty disgusting. Yeah, there's some really gross ones I added
don't
to
know.
that. So, and the
Dude,
very
the other one, the other super soaker is fucking hot cum and
hot pus. We've had some other bodily fluids, so diarrhea.
Yeah,
it was due. And then Joey, the variable's an interesting one.
The variable is Michael Shawback with his eyes sewn shut, wearing a Packers hat.
Oh, wow. Michael wearing a Packers hat, but his eyes are sewn shut, so he doesn't know. So, all right. And then the song playing is Pit of Zombies by Cannibal Corpse. So that's getting pretty brutal. We got the Candyman, Dean Coral, and old Rod Farrell fighting with a flathead screwdriver, a gun that shoots hot diarrhea, and Michael Shawback with his eyes sewn shut in a Packers hat. So he's going to be mad once he rips those fucking eyes fucking open. And Pit of Zombies is jamming by Cannibal Corpse. So, Chris, where do we even go with this one?
So, like, basically, I'm looking at Dean Coral. He's, like, looking at the screwdriver because, like Joey said, you got your fucking board with your screws on it and shit.
Right.
You need that screwdriver. Fucking Rod Farrell, he's fucking weird anyway because he's, how old was he? Like 19?
Yeah, I can't remember. He was an adult, but
He probably
young.
liked
He
to
was a
bathe
young
in
buck.
shit. Yeah. But Dean Coral's a big old hoss, honestly, because he grabbed everybody and just did whatever he wanted. So Dean Coral's going to run out there, just slam Rod to the fucking ground, grab that flathead screwdriver, and fucking just stab it into one of his wrists into the mat because there's no plywood. You
Right.
got no screws. Use a screwdriver, you just pin him down with that.
Okay.
So fucking meanwhile, Pit of Zombies is fucking jamming in the motherfucking background. Michael is pissed off because he's already dead, but these guys created the zombie virus by making Michael have his eyes sewn shut
Oh, wow.
wearing a Packers hat.
Oh, shit.
these guys
Zombie
don't even.
Michael?
Yeah, Zombie Michael.
Oh, damn.
That's scary.
Yeah, Zombie Michael is coming back at
Oh,
you.
wow.
And he is not a happy motherfucker.
No.
Meanwhile, these guys are over there. Dean Corll's like holding him down. He's trying to butt fuck this dude. Fucking. Meanwhile, Rod's trying to fucking suck the blood out of Dean Corll and shit. Michael just comes up with fucking goddamn everything and just kills both of them, turns them into zombies. Now you have a zombie vampire and you have a zombie Candyman.
Oh,
Your
wow.
world is complete now. I'm going to give it to zombies.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Got Pit of Zombies jamming. Joey, what do you think, dude?
Yeah, that's true. Well, Pit of Zombies just fucking cranking through our Murder Metal Mayhem Bose sound system in our fucking Killer Cage house
Right.
thing. Whatever I'm talking about. You know how we do it. So
Oh, yeah.
whenever the bell rings, fucking, they're just jamming. Michael, he's so fucking drunk because he lives in a stupor. And he just thinks he's blacked out and lost his glasses anyway. So he doesn't realize. So for the moment, he's just fucking slam dancing around to the fucking Cannibal Corpse song.
He doesn't even know his eyes are sewn shut? Is
No, fuck no. He's like, oh, I'm drunk. I don't even know.
Okay.
And then fucking, he's like, what? Huh? What? All right. But then fucking Dean Corll and fucking Rod Farrell, so they're there. Dean Corll is like, man, I need to get my hands on this motherfucking screwdriver because that's how I fucking get down. Rod Farrell, he's okay with that. He likes the Super Soaker because he likes playing with toys and shit because he's barely a fucking adult to begin with. So
Fuck yeah, dude.
he's like, fuck yeah, I'll play with that shit. So they're fucking in the middle of the ring and Dean Corll's like trying to swashbuckle with the fucking screwdriver. Dean Corll's fucking spraying out a little bit of that hot-ass, gross diarrhea shit. Now, this diarrhea, what people don't know is that this was saved and fucking kept from Sugar Babe's anus that they fucking collected up. So this is Sugar Babe shit. So
no.
he's spraying that all over him. Now, the problem is this fucking shit is just fucking clogging up with the fucking chunks of poop in it. And it's a Super Soaker. It hasn't been modified for the heavy-duty dumps, you know what I'm saying? So Rod Farrell's like, fuck all this goddamn shit. I'm sick of this. I'm a goddamn vampire, y'all. I'm a goddamn country-ass vampire, y'all. I won't get crazy. I'm going to show y'all the sick shit. I'm going to show y'all the sickness. And he fucking undoes that thing on the Super Soaker and just starts chugging the diarrhea Sugar Babe poop. He's like, I'm a bad motherfucker, y'all. He runs over and fucking grabs Michael and bites him in the neck because he thinks he's a fucking vampire. Problem is, he's not really a vampire, so Michael just gets mad that he got bit. His fucking eyes get ripped open because he's fucking surprised that he just got bit
He's
on
like,
his
what the
neck.
fuck just
He
happened?
realizes that he's wearing a goddamn Packers hat
Oh, no.
and goes into a full-on rage
Right.
and starts stomping fucking Rod Farrell into the fucking mat. Dean Corll takes the opportunity and slides over and starts fucking stabbing Rod Farrell in his eyes with the screwdriver.
Can I get in on
and then
this, bro?
fucking,
Can I get in
yeah,
on
he's
this?
like, yeah. Dude, he stabs fucking Rod Farrell 213 times with the screwdriver.
Brutal.
211 of those in the anal cavity.
Oh.
Dean Corll wins with the help of Michael.
Fucking A.
Fuck yeah.
Nice
Yeah.
fucking tail, bro. I love you.
Yeah, and Michael, you know, he makes these appearances in the Killer Cage match. He's a good sport about it. I thought the Packers hat was a nice touch. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right. Well, you could pick up any of my books at PeteAltieri.com. I got some samples there if you want to do that. Check it out first. And I'll link to that in the episode description, as I will with our Murder Metal Mayhem page.
Go check out the website.
Yeah, murdermetalmayhem.com. Got a good web store there. You could join the 666 Club from there if you want, 25% off. And some good shit on there. So go check that out. Also, we got our YouTube channel, so subscribe to that. Posting content there with the band interviews and some segments from the show. So go do that. I definitely wish there was more time in the day. I'd love to spend more time doing video content. It's so tough to do. So, but you know, we got good shit on there. So go
We
do
don't
that.
have interns, y'all. Y'all
That's
want to
right.
be an intern?
So I think we have done plenty of mayhem tonight, guys. So let's hit the fucking outro. Fucking nasty there, boy. Some New Creeping Death and the song Intestinal Rap, which I thought was an awesome title. And features some vocals from old Corpse Grinder there. Fucking badass as hell. So, new album. I pre-ordered it, coming out I think in June. It's either June or July, I can't remember now, but I pre-ordered it. So go on their Bandcamp, you can order that and get in on that deal. And you get the single now and then the whole thing when it comes out. Big thanks to our buddy Shane Borchuk for coming on with us.
Hell
Fucking
yeah.
right.
Always fun having him up there in the frozen tundra of Winnipeg.
Shane, thank you so much, dude. It's cool you do that with us, man.
Yeah, the land of poutine. He's up there, but he comes via Zoom to talk to us, so that was awesome. And Joey, some good bumper music tonight.
Fuck yeah. Tonight we played Cannibal Corpse, Creeping Death, and Disincarnate.
Yeah, nasty lineup tonight for sure.
Great, just fucking awesome metal tonight.
Yeah, metal segment intro.
Always the great fucking metal motherfucker. Cry6, thank you all, dude.
Hell yeah. And the Murder Metal Mayhem intro, Crawl Space by Low 12. Thanks to everybody out there listening. We keep seeing those, nice listener rates and all the things you guys are doing and comments, and we got some good ones to read tonight.
Yes, we do.
Chris, I thought you would like this first one here.
Nice name, dude. Fuck yeah. His name's Gordon Feldersnatch. Says, I'm from Spokane and started listening to you when you did the Donna Perry episode. My sister is trans and I like the way you guys told the story. Great job, and you've got a new listener every week. I also rip bong hits along with Joey when I listen.
Hell yeah.
Fucking yeah, get the fucking bong rips, man.
The first time Tony sent me something from Spellbound Effects and Art, he sent it from Gordon Feltersnatch was the return address. And I had to go pick up the box at the post office,
Oh, so
it
that
was
was
funny.
Tony.
Yeah. So yeah, Gordon Feltersnatch. So, but I'd seen that before, so I don't know if that's Tony or if that's somebody that just ironically used that name. I just thought it was hilarious. All right, Joey, what about that next one?
The next one says Rayo Face 69 said, I've been listening to this podcast for 2 or 3 years. You guys are fucking best. Simple as that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks,
Fuck
Ray.
yeah, thank you.
And Barb Smith Broderick comments, my son told me about you guys. I've been listening since you did the episode on Alcatraz. That was really interesting. It's cool when you have Tex on to do the prison episodes. He's great. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, he is.
Love having Tex on, that's for sure. And then, Chris, how about this last one here?
Last one. Jesus Christ. Last one, fucking, hey, would you blow me? Says fucking, I crank you guys up every week. I'm a roofer and our crew loves the show and we love the Killer Cage matches best. Fucking awesome shit. We're in San Jose, California.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. All right, you could pick up my latest book, Slab of Sickness, Terror on the Tracks at PeteAltieri.com. And I got Creation of Chaos 4 getting ready to come out. Wrapping that thing up, working with Brian. The goal is the artwork to be done by the end of the month, and then looking to release it in August. So keep your ears open for that. Got some good stories in this one. Check out MurderMetalMayhem.com. It's our website. Got the web store there. Been talking about it. Joey's Distro. I'll link to that in the episode description. Yeah, you could buy some Goremonger and some other shit Joey's got. You can like us on Facebook.
Send Joey some money.
At Horns High Studios on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you want to join our Patreon, just $3 a month is all it is. That's the 666 Club. You could do it at patreon.com/murdermetalmayhem, or you could do it right from our website and save 25% when you do it that way.
Boom.
All right, we can't let him go without hearing a karaoke song. Here's a little blast from the past. Crank this one up, and until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And keep your fist wrapped around the axe. Kill your fucking mother and father. Fuck yeah.
Crazy! I'm crazy! crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you loved me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worry, why do I let myself worry? Wondering, what in the world did I do? Crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying, and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. Crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying, and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for love in you. You crazy motherfuckers.
Mother, man.